Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I told you Darren Page would show up like at the last minute. I knew it. I just felt it. The energy was there. Welcome to the stream, everybody. The Nocturnal Nerdcast on a special night, Tuesday instead of Monday. But the internet gods came through and dropped so much stuff today that I don't know. I know Darren can't stay for the whole stream, but there's so much to talk about. We're going to do as much as we can tonight, and whatever we don't get into, I'll save for Thursday. But yeah, I messaged Paigey last night and I was like, they're working on my internet. What should I do? Should I wait? And I was debating it and I was like, well, I could try and go live on my phone, using my phone, and maybe that'll work. But I decided to postpone it, and I think I made the right decision because every single topic that you see in the line here above us and the guys looking down below, I think they all dropped today. So every single thing that we're going to be talking about, all the big stories are all from today. We have a lot to discuss, and everybody in the chat, just be respectful. Like, I know I'm asking the internet, it's a lot to say, like, be respectful, but we're going to try and get through all of this and see where this leads us. But before we do that, before we get into the crazy topics, Paigey, how are you doing? How is your day?
I don't know. Decent. It's fucking hot. I'll tell you that.
Oh, guess what? It's going to be hot here this week. Apparently, we're going to be in the 70s Fahrenheit.
Jesus.
This weekend. So there we go. So I'll be.
I thought that was going to lead to like some other reference or some other event.
Oh, you mean like hot in here, like Nelly? Or
hot in here. I don't know, like sauna activities. I don't know, something like that.
No, we're not doing that. Paigey, we're less than 4 minutes in, and we can't do all that this early. You got to wait.
Okay. I didn't realize there was rules.
Yeah, there's rules. There are rules. You know it's YouTube. You know how YouTube gets down. It's
so
so
I
funny.
Thought it was streaming on some other platform.
No. But I will remember, I think it was like last week or the week before we were streaming and they like paused our stream because we were watching something. It was the Logan thing, wasn't it? The Logan fan film or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. So Darren, how are you doing today? How are things going in your world?
I am good. I went to the theater to see that new Bob Dylan movie that came out like a month ago at this point. Since it's up for like Best Picture, I was like, you know what? It's still in theaters. I'll check it out. It's okay.
It's okay. So you say that like there's what are some of the, without spoiling anything, because I don't know if you really can, but is there anything in it that you didn't like? I guess.
I mean, like, listen, like it's a biopic. Like I feel like biopics can only be like so good to a point, and like it's a very good movie. I just don't think it's like Best Picture good. Like it's it's a Bob Dylan movie. It's okay. I definitely think it like drags at certain points where like sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, this is you're feeling the almost 2:30 of its length. But it's good. If you like Bob Dylan, you'll probably like it.
Okay. I think that's Paigey. Didn't you say that's one of the things you want to see? The Bob Dylan one? Did you already see it or?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's something I want to watch. But I'm also not like dying to see it because you can't really be spoiled. If that makes sense. I'm a pretty patient
that's what I'm
person.
saying. When I said that to Darren, I'm like, well, you can't. We know what already happened. So,
yeah, only things I really like try to watch like straight away is something where someone can legitimately spoil it for me, which is 9 times out of 10 a fictional thing. So unless Bob Dylan grows wings or something halfway through the film and decides to randomly fly, then I don't think I'll have that movie spoiled.
Okay. Well, by the way, I want to give a reminder about what the goals are on both channels. If you're watching on the Debunk channel, you'll see that there are it's a 10 super chat goal. If we reach that, we will do a bonus stream on that channel, the woke channel, because Paigey always loves to specify that.
You mean woke mind virus? Don't try and woke mind virus channel.
And if you're watching on the Reloaded channel, you'll see that there is a poll up, and if we hit the goal, you get the poll. So whatever's in there, we'll do. 10 super chats. By the way, speaking of that, on Thursday night, we're gonna knock out, because we got 4 things we need to get through. We're gonna knock out 2 or 3 of those on Thursday's stream, because I can't imagine we're gonna get anything bigger than what we have tonight before Thursday. So we'll knock out some of the bonus ones. So.
Have you ever? I know you don't have the skill, Eric, but my mutation might be coming in. My skill of foresight, and for some reason, like in That's So Raven, where she trips out and sees things, I'm starting to get that, but like just like almost like epileptic visions, like flashes, almost
Of
like
what?
Clockwork Orange style. Ray Fisher, he keeps popping up in front of me when I'm walking.
Every
time I blink,
we
I
haven't
get
talked
a
about
bit
him in
of, like,
forever.
Ray Fisher. Yeah,
why Ray
but that's
Fisher?
the
We
thing.
haven't talked about him in forever.
That's the whole point. He'll strike when you least expect it.
Oh, got you.
Actually, to be fair, he strikes when you most expect it.
Oh, okay. All right.
At least back then, I think whenever we thought he would tweet, literally the day after he would tweet. So
well, there's
maybe,
always more soon. So you never know what's going to happen.
Well, when soon?
Yeah, that's why. That's
the big question. When is soon?
Shout out to Wild Robot. If you haven't seen it, is on Peacock. Such a great movie. But if you have Peacock and even on the lowest tier, because that's the one I pay for, it's there. So go check that out.
What is on Peacock? Is it just like what?
A lot,
shows
actually. There's a lot on there. Actually, it's a lot of comedy, like half-hour comedy shows are almost all exclusively on Peacock.
It's just everything that like NBC puts out, I think. So like all of their shows.
The Traitors is on there if you're into those kinds of reality shows. All the game shows on NBC are on there. It's a lot of like that kind of stuff. I'm surprised they're not doing better than they are because they have a lot of content.
I think they may be missing out on like a big
I think
series.
that based on a true story series that I told you about is on.
Oh yeah, it was. It did say Peacock original.
Yeah.
Peacock original.
Yeah, there's a lot of things on Peacock. It's actually a pretty good streaming service. I'd considered like upping the paying for the whole thing without ads.
Do you think it's let down by the fact it's probably got the worst name?
Yes.
Well,
you can't take a streaming service called Peacock.
Well, they can always use that Katy Perry song. I wanna see your Peacock.
Yeah, and then kids are going to be walking around singing. I think there's a reason that didn't become a single, Eric, and was just on the album.
I just don't think they have the like original content to push them forward.
It's mostly recycled stuff. They don't have a lot of originals. So, Lone Wolf here with the $5 super chat, getting the ball rolling. So thank you so much, Lone Wolf. Heard a rumor that Teen Titans Robin Nightwing actor is being eyed for a potential role as Cyclops. Wow. So Brenton Thwaites, I think is his name. That's interesting. Would you guys be on board with that? Does that sound like something you'd be okay with, or like a live action Cyclops?
Depends.
He's such a good Robin, Nightwing.
Depends on what era, because if the whole Sophie rumors for Jean Grey are true, then like those two can't exist at the same time, right? There's an age difference between those two actors. So if you go younger, then no. If you go older, sure, right? Like if you're aiming for like X-Men the animated series kind of timeline, then that can work. But you also don't want to like put him in a bubble, because I feel like Dick Grayson and Cyclops aren't too different. Like I feel like they're kind of very similar in characters, which is probably why they were fan cast as that character. But I'd be down.
Yeah. Paige, are you a fan of Brenton Thwaites?
Yeah, Thwaites.
Yeah. Is that a common last name in Australia? Isn't he Australian?
I don't know anyone that has a last name Thwaites outside of him.
I don't think I've ever heard that last name until him. It's like he's the first person.
Yeah. I mean, Brenton isn't that. Like I know there's
I've heard Brenton before. Thwaites I've not heard though. So anyway.
Yeah.
Naruto coming in with a $5 super chat. This is on the Reloaded channel. Thank you guys for getting the ball rolling. This one says, Eric, on your upcoming conspiracy theory podcast, would you consider talking about the JFK files if they actually come out?
Ooh.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of like unreleased or like released files over the next couple of years, and that might be the perfect stuff to talk about on that podcast. So maybe possibly I'm sure Paigey's down for any, like the deeper the rabbit hole. Paigey likes the deep holes, so the deeper the the deeper it is, the more Paigey's into it. No, we'll I mean, it's a possibility, definitely. I don't think there's anything off the table unless it's too like violent, because I think YouTube is very difficult.
Well, to be fair, I mean, unless someone time travel, we're not going to get JFK's head getting blown off in 4K.
Well, see, there you're saying it now, and so YouTube is going to see that.
But there's already video footage of it. You can see it, like it's pretty gnarly what you see.
No, I get that, but those are already probably like limited. So you're saying it, you're going to limit the reach of this content by saying it when those videos don't care if they're limited, and I do care. I want everybody to see my stream. So.
Sorry, Aaron.
Don't act like it's not your goal. It's your goal every week is to see how far you can push it. So we know how it goes. Okay, so since it's been done, let's go ahead and get into the segment. All right, so this is something I talked to Paige about, and again, I wanted to start out with something less heavy because I feel like when we get into these other topics, it's going to be a little dramatic. So I want to start out with something a little bit lighthearted, but I do have my opinions about this. So this seems like it could be actually legitimate, that Microsoft is actually thinking of buying the TikTok platform. But I read through this, and one of the things it doesn't really talk about, at least when I read it earlier, is the important thing, which is the algorithm that ByteDance owns that they use for TikTok. All of these years of information they've gathered that allows their algorithm to work the way it does. That's the valuable part of it. The TikTok name only holds so much value, which means that Microsoft buying this would have to use it without the established algorithm. It'd be like starting from the very beginning. Not to mention they don't have any deals with record labels, so you wouldn't get all the fun music that you get on TikTok because TikTok has deals, which means Microsoft would have to do those deals, which they would probably take at a loss, which they wouldn't want to do after buying TikTok. So I feel like it wouldn't even be the same platform anymore if Microsoft buys it. Plus, it would probably get integrated with everything Microsoft has. So anything that Microsoft is working with, Windows, all this other stuff, it's going to get integrated into TikTok. So it would be TikTok in name only at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a good thing. I don't think this is what people want, honestly. Whoever buys TikTok has to want to keep it as TikTok. I think Microsoft buying TikTok would become a platform for Microsoft to do what Microsoft does, which is send people to their cash shops, advertise stuff, work out deals with other companies. They would not care about the user experience because they've never cared about that with any of the stuff they've made. They've never cared about that. So I think this is a bad idea. This is only good in the sense that it would keep TikTok open in the United States, but it would remove everything that makes TikTok special. Plus, how would this affect people outside of the US version of TikTok? Would we still interact with people outside of the United States, or would it just be for the US? That would kind of defeat the purpose too. So, yeah. I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, like you said, no one's going to be happy either way. Like I feel like there's no, I feel like the TikTok that we knew will be gone. Like you said, either way. I'm not an expert on Microsoft and, what exactly that would mean. I don't know. I do think it's really funny seeing Donald Trump as a source though. Credible news source.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't going to talk about it initially because I didn't really think that was a reputable thing. But I'm seeing other outlets that I guess have questioned people at Microsoft, and they've kind of confirmed that this has been discussed or whatever. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. I just feel like, and this, what I said all this to Paige when we were DMing about it. I don't see how this is a win for people that actually use TikTok, the international TikTok. I think this would be a stopgap measure to keeping TikTok around that would pretty much destroy what TikTok is. Because without the algorithm, it's nothing. That's really what runs TikTok, is the algorithm. Otherwise, it's just a video sharing app. So, right, do you agree with me, Paige, or not on that one?
Oh, well, yeah, the algorithm's a big thing. Who was I listening to? I can't remember what it was. It was something on YouTube. It got recommended to me, and it was just sort of explaining the TikTok. This was before the original TikTok ban when it was down for 12 hours. This is maybe a few weeks ago. And they were saying that if it's sold, obviously all the stuff you're talking about with the algorithm, but it would almost be if you had 2 million followers, it would go down to almost being TikTok just starting all over again. You still be following and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just so unless you're someone where people go to your account specifically, bother, or they go through the following. Who on TikTok goes through the following? You pretty much just stay on your For You page.
Yeah.
I don't know many people that would go. Maybe you might scroll through the following for a couple minutes.
Well, because the people you're following will eventually show up in your For You if you.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So. And and obviously accounts that you might have watched a couple of videos in a row on, gone to their account and watched 3 videos. You might not have followed them, but you recently watched them, and it works very similar to the YouTube side. But imagine if YouTube reset its algorithm.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, I'd be okay with that.
Well, it's the big thing, because it'd go back to the thing, unless you're searching for that specific thing, like you know, if you fall, that's the whole thing about falling out of the algorithm, and that happens with TikTok as well. But TikTok's a bit different because you get thrust. It's not like a thing where people have to click on your video still, like it's thrust upon you and then you can watch it. So if that changed, it would be like, and obviously like Microsoft might try to mimic the algorithm in some way and see how it works and stuff, but there's a reason that TikTok doesn't want to sell it. It's too valuable. Like, imagine all the work they put into it and stuff like that.
So I think that this reminds me a lot of I remember we were talking about where I think it was the CW. It reminds me of the CW in a lot of ways, where the value of the CW wasn't in the name the CW. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any impact, really. It's what the CW had. And we saw over the last few years that it's true. The CW, as we know it, went away because the IPs that they had just vanished. And so it was no longer what it was before.
Yeah.
That would be the same thing that would happen to TikTok if they did it without the algorithm.
I mean, I would say that's slightly different scenario. Because I do feel like the TikTok brand is very big. Like, I feel like everyone and their mom at least knows what TikTok is. So people would still at least stay on for a while. But I do think once people's videos aren't getting pushed out like they used to, they'd be like, oh, okay, maybe I don't like this. Like, that's why there's so many more people on TikTok than on YouTube, because it's so much harder to push your YouTube videos.
It's easier to go viral on TikTok than it is on YouTube.
It's also easier to make a video. You just go, hello, I'm a dickhead, post, and then
absolutely.
YouTube, you have to.
Well, that's what I do on YouTube Shorts, Pagey. That's what I do on YouTube.
Don't worry, I've seen your YouTube Shorts.
Pause on that one. But the other thing I think about is and we're going to move on from this, but the monetary value of shops and things like that, because if you're only selling to the US market and you're no longer connected to the outside of the US, or what about like if you're somebody that was getting a partnership with a major brand and that brand was paying you X amount of money, talking about the bigger influencers on TikTok, like the ones with like millions and millions of subscribers or followers. If you're getting paid by a brand to do business with them, that value is going to diminish if they have two separate apps. Which one is going to be the best one? The international one or the one in the US? Because they're going to be separate.
There's no TikTok shop in Australia. I don't think it's in England or anything. I think it's really just an American thing. Maybe it's in Canada as well. Mm-hmm. But I didn't even know it was a thing, the TikTok shop.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what the fuck is the TikTok
There's
shop?
a lot of people locally to me that use the TikTok shop as just a shop itself. Like, they don't even they don't have a big following on TikTok. They just use the shop.
It's by
because it's easy. Yeah. So it's a pretty big deal. So Defunct says, wondering how it would impact the TikTok shop. Yeah, I mean that's the big thing, right? All right, this one is another fun one here. Before we get into the heavy stuff, which will be the next story, but Brad Winterbaum says, it's exciting for me to think about how to square those ABC shows with the canon. Well, I have a list that breaks down episodically where it would fit into the MCU, so I'll send you after this. I need it. So this is talking about stuff like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Carter, which I'm 1,000,000% on board with this. These shows need to be connected. There's absolutely no reason to disconnect Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because up until a certain point, it does follow the MCU timeline. Yeah. It's when they time travel into the future when things start to get a little wonky. But then you could say that's a separate time. They created a branch timeline. That's the easiest way to explain it, honestly.
The only two things I could see maybe why they wouldn't, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was always very self-contained. There wasn't major things. Was Mockingbird and Ghost Rider. But both those two be mantles, right? You can have a new Mockingbird and a new Ghost Rider and still be canon to the MCU, right? Because multiple people have held those titles. Besides that, it is like there's nothing really holding it back outside of maybe them not wanting, or like them being afraid of people having to get caught up with 7 seasons of television. That's I think would be their only concern. And Agent Carter is like the weird one that's not canon to the MCU. Like this season of What If was like basically like I feel like that episode was like, oh yeah, it's canon. Like it feels. I know What If is like an alternate thing, but like that episode felt like, oh yeah, like it's part of that world. It's like I think there's no reason why it shouldn't be at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm okay with it. And like you said, doing homework. Honestly, Ghost Rider being on that show and then being in the movies, it's literally, I mean, those two characters without meeting each other don't require any explanation whatsoever. It's just a different Ghost Rider. So you have that there. As far as Mockingbird, you're right. They could just give another person the title of Mockingbird, call it a day. You know what I mean? And move on with that.
It should also be said, just like really quickly, is go ahead. I do feel like they're slightly losing their time to do it because once we get to Secret Wars, it won't matter, right? Like even if it was canon, it won't be anymore to an extent, right? Like they could recast any of these characters.
Oh, you mean like once that happens, it's over? Like they need to canonize it now? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see here. Where's it at? All right. So it is time to move over to the cursed stuff for the night. And this was requested because Darren can't be here for the whole stream. So he wants to talk about this one first because we got 3 stories to go over. Actually 4, because I want to talk about Anthony Mackie as well. But I want to get this one out of the way because he says he has some opinions about it. And we're going to talk about the Spider-Man stuff first because this one's probably the big one. Let's see here. Where's the hide articles? All right. So this is what happened. I caught this today. I actually think this came out today, right? This broke today or whatever.
Yeah.
So Hudson Thames, I couldn't remember what a name. Hudson Thames.
Is he the brother of the dude playing the live action How to Train Your Dragon guy? That guy's last name is Thames as well.
I don't know.
Or Thames. Is it Thames or Thames?
Is it Thames?
Like,
I don't know. Is it Thames?
Well, no, it's just like the River Thames.
No. You might be right. I don't know. Might be Thames. The voice of Spider-Man in Your Friendly Neighbor. So he's the lead. He's Peter Parker. He's the lead of the show. Says his biggest fear he had going into this was that the show was going to be annoying and woke.
That's what I asked myself before I come into a stream with Eric.
Oh yeah, if I'm going to be
I was wondering.
I think it's a combination of both. You have to be locked in to understand all of it. So if you're not locked in, I get it. I totally understand. Should we read the entire statement in context before we make our comments about it? Because he did go a little bit in more detail. All right, here's the full quote from Collider. I'm on Deadline, but this is from a Collider interview. I thought it was awesome. I mean, my biggest fear was it was going to be annoying and woke. And it wasn't. I was like, yes, this is great. It's so well written. Like, it feels real. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, so I feel like I kind of know what's happening in their lives and in high school, and I felt like it was doing that justice. That is the full statement from beginning to end out of the interview. And I have my thoughts on this, but Darren, you specifically requested this one, so I'd like to hear what you have to say before I give my opinion on this.
It's just such a weird thing to say. Like, it's just such a weird, like, out of all the things you want to talk about, out of like you are promoting the show, you're trying to make people excited for it, and you're bringing up such a negative environment around it, being like, oh man, I like it's crazy, it's woke. Like, here's the thing, it is woke. Like it is by the like definition a woke show, but that's not a bad thing. Like that is a good thing, and I think that's the like misconception with all these things. Is like, oh my gosh, it's super white. It's like, no, we are featuring people of color, we are featuring queer characters. That is by their textbook definition. Their
definition of woke, right? Yeah. Right. What the community that would call this woke, that is what they consider to be woke. So that is it. Yeah. So in the other article, because right here, Short Car said to read the statement after that. So this was from the Collider interview. After this, it goes, and this is why I think it's important, because Darren, you mentioned what woke means in that community. And so this article talks about this. Woke is a term which is more often than not used as a dog whistle for racism and sexism in entertainment fan bases. This interview also comes at the same time that Collider's Mike Thomas spoke with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man showrunner Jeff Trammell, who eloquently spoke about bringing in a new version of New York City to life, one that is flush with representation that accurately portrays the many different cultures in one of the biggest cities on Earth. Thames, whatever you want to pronounce it, Oscar-nominated co-star Coleman Domingo was already experiencing racist backlash for his casting as Norman Osborn, a character who is not inherently white in the comics. So that's the thing, right? Is the community that this guy, Hudson, is speaking to had already tuned out of the show. They weren't going to watch the show anyway because all of the things that the show was showing and promoting to them was woke. So to them, they had already determined and decided. You can go, there's video after video after video on YouTube of people complaining about race swapping and taking MJ away and all this other stuff. There's tons of that that's already been happening on YouTube. So those guys were already tuning out of the show. They weren't going to be the ones watching the show. You know who was going to watch the show? All of the quote unquote woke people that were defending the show to all of the people who were saying those things about it. So what you have now is you have a bunch of people that feel completely blindsided by Hudson. You have a bunch of people that feel like they wasted their time trying to support the show because they thought that the show was sending this message of like love and acceptance. And then you have the lead actor, Peter Parker himself, coming out and saying that his biggest fear was that the show was going to be annoying and woke, and then uses the universally misguided argument that it's great because it was well written. I can't tell you how many times I've had to have arguments about how if something is well written, it is just well written. There is no asterisk on that for it's well written, but there's a trans person in it. It's well written, but there's a gay person in it. If it is well written, it is just well written. But that's not the nuance that the community that he's talking to cares about. They don't. I've been in so many streams. I've done so many streams with people and had conversations about this. And I could tell him directly to his face, there's no point in trying to pander to the people that feel this way, because no matter what you say about it, they've already established and made up their mind about what they think this cartoon is. Mm-hmm. So right before it literally drops today, I think it's today, right? Isn't it today?
Yeah.
It literally comes out today. A lot of people were excited about it. They were ready to watch this cartoon. And the first thing they see when they log in to get hyped for the cartoon is a quote from him saying that he initially thought that this was going to be annoying and woke. As the lead actor who was cast as Peter Parker. Because the only reason he would say that is if it was already in his head before he ever went into the booth to record.
Yep.
So he thought about that while he was making the show until he made up his mind that it wasn't going to be, as he says, annoying and woke. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I looked it up because I was thinking like, okay, maybe he's in his 20s, maybe he's younger, maybe he's just hearing. He's 30 years old. This is a 30-year-old man on the internet. He is Spider-Man. This man is arguably one of the greatest let's be honest, probably the best role this man's ever going to have. Like you're never going to get better than Spider-Man. You are Spider-Man. You are 30 years old, and the first thing you're getting people hyped up about.
3 seasons too. It's been greenlit for 3 seasons.
Yeah. What shows get 3 seasons now? Like right off the bat. Very few shows get that.
And the thing that sucks is I want to support this cartoon because I like everything I've seen about it. I'm one of the few people where I'm like, okay, the animation looks cool to me. I think it looks cool. And I'm one of the few people that feels that way. Most people have complained about the animation and they're going into it hoping that it gets better, like that it changes their mind. I want to be good about this because everybody involved in the cast, with the exception of this guy, seems to be on the same page. It's almost like he was completely separated from everyone else that was cast, and he came into this with this like idea that it's a diverse show, so it's going to be annoying and woke, but my mind was changed because it's well written. What a dumb way to promote your show.
Yeah,
it's such a dumb thing. Paige, what do you think about this?
It's obviously not fucking talk about bad timing. This is like getting up on stage and realizing, oh shit, not wearing pants. Like that's essentially what this is. I feel like I don't necessarily love Collider trying to make it sound like he is a racist and a sexist.
I
think
agree.
that's almost. I think that's to be honest, bad journalism, chucking that in there, like, because using like a term which is thrown around a lot by a lot of people that clearly aren't.
I don't think he is, but I want to say that I think they had to put that in there because that's the demographic that uses the word.
I think they were also trying to explain, like, because okay, well, what's woke? It's like,
but anyway, continue.
They have to explain it.
Yeah.
I think I understand. I think you have to understand, like, probably what he thinks, and I think this, like, I didn't know he was 30 though, because I saw a photo of him and I thought, and he's cast as Spider-Man, so I assumed
he was like full adult man.
I thought he was crazy. I thought he was, because I didn't Google anything.
The picture, I thought he was like 20 something, maybe 21. 22.
Yeah, that's what I saw the photo, and I thought, oh, okay, he looks like he's maybe like early 20s or something like that, maybe mid 20s to push it. I don't know where, like, it's weird because there's a Spider-Man show, so I don't even know where the thought of like annoying and woke even.
But I can tell you where. From. So I believe, look, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to tell you based on my interactions with people across the board. He probably had a preconceived idea of what Marvel is, which is annoying and woke. He got cast because he auditioned because his agent probably said this is a good role for you. It's Marvel. It's a good role. Originally, it was supposed to be in the MCU, right? Yeah. Wasn't it going to be in the MCU? I think originally, like a prequel series or something.
And he started over on What If. It was What If season 1, I think. Yeah, because like he played in the zombie episode, and they were like, okay, Tom Holland's obviously not doing this. Here's another little show you can do.
Yeah. So this is a good gig, right? Because this has him, as Paigey would always say, as we say here actually at the Nerdcast, locked in for a while in this role as Spider-Man. It's a good gig for him. Yep. And look, you don't have to watch any of these things. I've said this before. I am not here in my podcast, on my videos, to convince anybody to watch or do anything that they don't want to do. That is not my job. I am not the entertainment police. You don't have to watch it. If you think it's going to be annoying, if you think that you don't want to watch something that's quote unquote woke, don't watch it. I'm not telling you to do that. But this is a person who was cast in this role, who came into the role thinking that it was going to be annoying and woke because of a preconceived notion of what the MCU is. And I can tell you that only comes from one community. And that community is here on YouTube. It's spread out from here. It's spread into TikTok. It all comes from the same group of guys that think that everything is woke and annoying. They complain about everything. Yeah. So how is he acting in this show where these guys have already established, that community has already established that the show was going to be bad because of the race swapping, and this is your quote? You use the word woke?
I can tell you this though, a lot of people who are on the fringe who just maybe use TikTok or something like that scrolling through, that's where the term woke is really overused. Like, I was just say woke, that like something that's not
brain rot world.
Well, not even brain rot, but I think it's just almost like surface level internet, saying like something's woke or something like that.
The word is, look, that word woke as a term being applied the way it's being applied here is literally, I believe, on the edge of just becoming nonsensical to the point where you can't even really use it anymore.
Well, and like, here's the thing. Because for me, if something's like quote unquote woke on a show, it's something that like is so out of place, sometimes politically, that it makes anyone roll their eyes unless they're delusional. If you're right, most people's eyeballs might get stuck fucking looking at their brain but you know how often that happens? Hardly ever. The one thing I remember, the biggest uproar, and I was like, that's not woke at all. And it ties into this thing about like what he says there, like, oh, it's like it was just good writing or whatever it is. But I remember like when I heard like people saying it was woke, I'm like, but it's not, because you could use it in any scenario and it still feels.
But see, Paige,
I'll give my example. It was the Last of Us episode,
right?
Exactly. I can't remember the two characters' names, but Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett. Yeah. And it was like that could be a man, a woman, a woman and a woman, whatever it is, a man, a woman, and a man. Like what, three-way if they want to go, and it would have been the same. It was just two people connecting, falling in love, growing old together. That was it.
And people lost their minds over it. They lost their minds over that. It was
to me, I think that was like probably the biggest overuse of the term woke, where it was nowhere near it. But can things be woke? Yes, but you like in regards to like the modern day internet sense, but it's so few and far between. It's not even funny, and it's not going to creep into any.
When you say that, you mean though what would actually apply to what they consider woke, right? Like it's so few and far between. Like you're using woke
something
as
the most extreme
example of like out of place, right?
Where it's completely out of place. It could be almost like an episode of Bluey, and then they start talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. It's like,
yeah,
hold on.
no, I
What
get
are we doing?
exactly. Yes, so we've talked about this in great detail, and I think this is one of the things that people miss when they watch my streams. And like, if you haven't watched every stream of the After Party, what the fuck, go watch them all. But if you don't remember me talking about this, I've talked about it in a lot of detail. I appreciate authenticity. Like, I like it when the project feels like the people making it gave a fuck about what they were doing. So they're making it, they care about it, it's there because they want it to be there. Can a studio mandate something be put into a movie or a TV show that feels like it doesn't belong there? Yes, and it does happen. But to assume, this guy assuming that that's what this was going into it, even if that's what he thought, he didn't have to say it in an interview. That's the part that is crazy to me. Why did you say this in an interview right before your show comes out? Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to assume the media training was at a negative level.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like horrendous. And also, it also just pisses me off. And I think with this situation and also the Superman clip thing that came out this week, I bet you're gonna talk about that later. But
the which one?
The Superman clip that's been going around.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
With those two things, it's made me so sad that the fandoms or the people surrounding these heroes are so unlike the heroes. It's like these characters that you're playing or these things that you're a fan of would hate you. They would hate what you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
That it, like, this statement is so anti-Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like when I finished Spider-Man, or like that, like first night I played Spider-Man 2 when that had come out, I loved the game. It was like, okay, this is the most I've ever felt like
the PS5 Spider-Man 2?
Yes,
yeah.
It was fantastic. And then I got online and it was just the most like homophobic, racist stuff online. I was like, how can you play this game? How can you love this character?
Right.
And then also say all this stuff,
You know, Darren, it's almost like they don't want the characters to be characters. They want them to be what they want them to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we talked about this a lot with Candace Patton, and we're going to go back to the Flash and Iris, right? So a lot of times complaints that I had about Iris were that the character the stories weren't very compelling, or she wasn't being used properly or whatever. And a lot of people would argue and complain about that because they wanted that character to be who they wanted her to be. And they were going to make that character who they wanted to make in terms of Iris. And so you get this situation where you have fans that are so, I hate to use this term again, but locked in to these characters that they feel like they control these characters. I see a lot of people saying that these characters belong to them, and they don't. These characters are for everybody.
Yeah.
They're for everyone. And if you want a character that has a real personality that feels like a real person, you need to let them cook and you need to let them write these characters. So why would Peter Parker as a character, this is the part that I don't understand. Why would this guy who's coming in to play Peter Parker as a character assume that Peter Parker is going to be a misogynistic asshole? Like, why would he assume that? Why would he think that? Is that what he thinks the character should be?
Can we do a bit of an exercise? What for this show, what would be something that would come in and you just go, wow, that's pretty woke? Like,
in
the context of this Spider-Man show. I'm just trying to.
No, I mean, based on knowing what we know now, or when we first heard about the show.
Oh, just from even the base of the trailers. Like, what's where you feel out of place and like you're like, this does not fit. Like, you're forcing this in, and like
what wouldn't fit in the show.
Yeah, like just something like politically or culturally.
Oh, political? Probably like references to like modern politics. I'd be like, why is this in the show? It doesn't make any sense. Like if they just came out outright and was like, you know, talking about January 6th or something, I'd be like, why is this in the show? That doesn't make any sense. But socially, I don't think there's much that they could do that I wouldn't expect to see in it, because you're talking about teenagers that are going to school, that are going to be interacting with the world. I think it's going to be most of all a socially relevant show in terms of like their interaction with each other. I think political stuff probably would shock me if it's a lot of like modern day political stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there's Marvel politics in it. Like if they want to use allegories, I think that would make sense. But still, I think what you're getting at, Paige, is that what would he expect to be in it that would be woke?
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, okay, well, fair enough saying or whatever, and give you your opinion. But I was like, what's he even referring to? Like, what's the threat?
So he said if they make Spider-Man date Harry Osborn, but I don't think that was ever in the stuff we were watching. I don't think it ever gave me the impression that was going to happen. I feel like they're trying to set up a new love interest for Spider-Man. It's not Harry.
But even
But I can see
then,
what you're
it's
saying.
like there are so many people that do see Peter Parker as bi, like that was a
Yeah.
whole conversation for a while. So I wouldn't even count that quote unquote woke, because that's just
Right.
like a potential progression of that character.
Hmm.
If they wanted to go, obviously they're not going that route. It doesn't seem.
Well, no, because the actor says his biggest fear was it was going to be annoying and woke, so I
Yeah.
guess they're not doing that.
And then
I
like
guess.
imagine season 3 comes out and he's just like the gayest character. He's like, "God
Yeah,
damn
it's
it."
like
He's like flamboyantly gay.
so. My question is though, before we move on from this topic, and anybody that has any final thoughts about it, is depending on how this show is received, because we know we're gonna have about a week of, I think it's, what is it, 5 days of episodes? Isn't it like 5 days of episodes, or is it?
No, isn't it one? Isn't it
4
weekly?
weeks. It's
No, but I mean total days. I think it's like how many episodes we get each day. Like how many days total is the season, I guess.
4 weeks, and then like there's the episodes are spread over
yeah,
4 weeks, isn't it?
It's 10 episodes.
Oh, it's 10 episodes, but
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm getting at is we're getting more than one episode a day when they come out, right? Isn't it like 2 and then 3 and then 3
Yes.
and then
Yes, I
Okay.
think so.
So what I'm saying is over the course of like a week in episodes, like we're going to totally get or whatever, we're going to know whether or not the show is going to be the type of show we expect it to be, which I think, in my opinion, I'm going into the show hoping that it's just going to be fun and good. Like, why would you go into it being worried about how woke it is? That's just such a weird thing to me.
Is there like a channel on YouTube that goes over like a woke meter or something? Is there a channel that
I
does that?
mean, who knows? Look, I'm still going to watch it though. I'm still going to support it because I want the show to be good. I will be honest if it's not good, but I think I'm probably going to like it. I have a good feeling about it. So we'll see.
I think we're gonna have Spider-Man controversy every week, because this show seems like, out of all the Spider-Man shows I've seen, the one that's changing the most things in terms of like his lore and stuff, which I'm personally okay with. I like new adaptations of these characters, but I know the Spider-Man fandom well enough to know they do not. Right? Like one little change from like the comic, they're like, "How dare they? How could they?"
Yeah, it's going to be like that. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. All right. Any final thoughts on that before we move on to the Superman controversy? I want to talk about that next.
I just, not to get political, and I will stay off of the main track.
Okay.
But one thing I think this week has proved is that we have shown people that these kind of takes are okay. And you know, like these are things that I think we're gonna get a lot more people like this coming out and being like, well, is it okay now to say these kind of things? Oh, it's acceptable. Okay.
Can I say what I hope the end result of this is, to put a little positive spin on it?
Yeah.
Is I hope that it becomes so common in conversation, if it's going to be that way, that it eventually loses its power. You know what I mean? Like, if we can sit here and have a conversation about it and we're so shocked about it, I'm hoping that eventually it doesn't shock people and it just kind of disappears and that nobody really cares about it. Like I hope that's where we get to eventually, because otherwise I think it's just going to keep diluting what the word woke means. So
Okay, but here's the thing. $10. What other big franchise actor says something along those lines?
I feel like the DCU is ready for that. I feel like we're going to see something in the DCU where somebody is going to say
David Cornsweat just comes out and says like a slur or something like that.
If the day before the day before Superman drops and David Cornsweat is like, yeah, my biggest fear was that they were going to have some woke stuff in the movie and they didn't have
I was so scared I was going to have to kiss another dude. I was so scared.
Oh no. Okay. We do have a comment here I want to address, and then we're going to move on. Shaq here says
James Gunn kept pinching my bum or something.
Oh gosh, don't even. Shaq says, do you think they should replace the voice actor for the next season after? I don't necessarily think they should replace the actor, because I don't know if the actor is just saying stuff that he's heard online or if he actually believes that.
Yeah, like I think
know.
He also might just been saying it like off the cuff and stuff, like, you know, like I think this is probably like a bigger controversy than it needs to be. I think it's just more the fact it's the day of the show coming.
I honestly want to see where it goes. Like, if this is his worst statement, and there's nothing else, then I don't really
Right.
care. But if he continues to be
He
like,
keeps going.
yeah, if he's like, I'm so glad they didn't put a black person in with a love interest or whatever. Like, if he goes down that route, I think they
Yeah.
might have to consider getting. But I actually think he's going to see the response to this online, and it might change the way he does interviews. But I will say this: get some media training, you guys, before you go out and do interviews, please.
Well, just think before you say. Like, you can have those thoughts, whatever. Like, you can have one. It's also like when you're talking. He was talking to Collider. It wasn't like he was like an Instagram live, and then Collider picked up on it. Was the first, like he was speaking to Collider.
Right,
Yeah.
which means he could have watched what he was saying, but he didn't. Anyway, Lone Wolf here with the $2 super chat says, "Have any of you watched Severance yet? Amazing. I've started watching the first season, but don't spoil it because I haven't seen all of it yet. So, has anybody else watched it all the way through? Or
Yeah.
are you okay? People are saying that he gets better, so I don't know if that's true or not. But
How far in are you?
3 episodes.
Well, don't spoil anything. I'm about to start it probably like next week because I re-signed up to
Apple TV.
My Apple Music thing came with a free year of Apple TV.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting Apple TV for free alongside with my Apple Music.
Well, we're not. Well, Lone Wolf, I'm
also going to watch that show.
We'll revisit it.
Silo.
Yeah.
I've heard
Silo's so good, good. Such a good show.
Silo's really good.
I'll be honest. Most of the Apple TV stuff is really good. Most of it is really good.
They make good TV.
Yeah. All right. So let us go over here and we're gonna watch this and then talk about the drama. This is a new, shorter teaser for Superman that has a lot of people complaining. So let's see what all the complaints are about. Here we go. A lot of stuff we've seen before. There we go. That's the new stuff. All right, so let's go back a little bit to this spot right here. This is the issue. A lot of people don't like the way he looks when he's flying. Apparently, there's a lot of controversy about the way he looks when he's spinning around. They're saying that they've seen better visual effects on TV shows. Shout out to Superman and Lois. But yeah, a lot of people don't like it. They say that his face looks weird. We do have a statement from James Gunn. Before you look at that, though, what are your thoughts? Look, I think this looked good. I think this was a much better, shorter, more concise version of the trailer we saw. I like seeing him flying. I think it looks really cool. Obviously, there's some post-production to be done, but that's fine. I'm expecting them to clean it up a little bit. But overall, I thought it was fine. Any thoughts on this, you guys?
This movie so far has been the definition of this thing is cool until you have someone in your ear telling you it's not cool, because that's been my whole step with this movie. That first poster came out, I was like, holy shit, this is cool, and everyone's like, oh no, this is shit. I was like, oh okay. That crypto thing came out, I was like, oh, I love this is awesome. And everyone's what the hell is this? This came out, I was like, holy shit, that shot looks so cool. And then everyone's like, what, why does it look like that? I was like, what are you talking about? I actually have to go out of my way and be like, okay, I guess I can see where you guys are coming from. But that's this is such chronically online stuff to me. Where it's if you are not pausing every single frame, every second, and I know
this is the literal frame that everybody's talking about. I can't believe I landed on it, but this is the one.
It's so I get it, right? Maybe it could look better. Who cares? I'm sorry. It looks fine. It's whatever. They're going to polish it up. Once you're in the theater, once you're watching it on DVD or streaming, you're not going to notice it. You're only noticing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're going to do some stuff in post production. But here's 100%. The kicker to me: if you don't like David Cornsweet as Superman, I don't think there's anything that can be done in these trailers that's going to make you change your mind. If there are people that have already established they don't like David Cornsweet, which is your prerogative. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. It's whatever. They're just not going to change their mind. And we're going to look at his quote here in a second. Somebody did mention something about the face. We'll talk about that. But Paigey, what are your thoughts on this this little teaser with him flying?
I mean, I think it looks fine. I mean, the face is it's clearly weird. And I know you're going to read the thing out that Gunn said, but I wasn't surprised.
I'll go ahead and pull it up while we're talking.
Yeah, you may as well bring it up because it plays into it. We can read it out if you want.
Yeah, so it says, looks dope, great camera angle, Superman flying. Which, by the way, it looks a lot like Adam Warlock from Guardians 3. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but it's very.
I saw
similar
people
to,
comparing it to that.
It's
on
very
Twitter.
similar to that, right? Except there's something with his face that looks a little off. I know there's plenty of time to refine the CG, which I believe, like, clearly there is some VFX that need to be refined there, whether it's his face or not. Clearly there is some. There's absolutely zero CG in his face. People's faces can look different when you put a wide-angle lens up close. The background plate in Svalbard is 100% real, as is David. And I think it is. Like, all of that makes sense to me. But with them flying, there is some visual stuff that needs to be tweaked a little bit, and I think most people would agree with that. His face looked weird, but Darren, you made the point about, like, if you pause frames, you're gonna see weird things. Like, that's just the way it is. Paige, you want to continue your thoughts? Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, because I remember there was the shot, and I think they reused it in that trailer. It's the one where he's in like the glass box, like Hollywood Squares thing. And he's like punching out, and then I saw like I think it was on TikTok. It might have been. So I was sidelining myself from my usual brain rot content. I went to actually watch something, and it was a guy. I think he worked at like a camera shop or something. Like he was really like he was a camera technician guy, and I guess sometimes he just points out specific things in film, and he was talking about that because it looks really weird, like weird in a good way. That shot of him punching out, like how it tracks over and stuff. And he said, like, yeah, they're using this lens that like can change. What do you want to call it? And when I saw that shot, I'm like, oh, they're probably doing that there. But it's probably like the wide shot works better when it's for the background, but when he comes in, it looks a bit weird on his face. But it's, in the movie, it's only going to be there for a tiny bit. It wouldn't surprise me if we see his face again after that. It's maybe a different shot and it's zoomed in. And here's the thing. Gunn admits it looks weird. Like he says, like it can look a bit weird. Or he says different. I think he means the term probably a bit weird. It'll probably get fixed up. He's probably seen the criticism here and goes, okay, maybe I didn't notice this because I'm not necessarily looking at frames and stuff like that. Like people on Twitter and YouTube do a trailer breakdown where they're looking at each individual microsecond. He might look at that and go, okay, I'll look at that. Because his eyes do look like it looks like he's cockeyed. You know, he does look cockeyed. Gunn might fix that. I think
this was a post on
like,
Reddit where they talked about how Gunn loves these like super close like face shots or whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but like I'm sure he might fix it, but it's also like, is it worth it? Because like in the theater, like when you're sitting down, Eric, you got your 4 popcorns. Like, how long is it on screen? Are you even necessarily looking at his face? Or are you looking at the background?
It's 1 second of this.
When I watched this first thing, I was looking at his cape in the background.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was cockeyed until
I was looking at the cool elements, like his hair kind of blowing in the wind and the way the surroundings worked when he was flying through. Like there was a lot of things I was looking at. I didn't care about. I didn't pause it here to look at his eyes. Like you literally would have to watch it frame for frame to find this shot.
And I understand that, Jason, as well. But also, Superman shouldn't be affected by wind. His eyes wouldn't hurt from the wind. So, like, if that's like that might be something that's fixed up in post. Is like David Corenswet sort of like going, "Holy shit, that's strong in my eyeballs, drying out my eyes." So that's probably because Superman shouldn't be affected. I saw people blowing up his hair should not be moving and stuff like that. I like the fact that his hair is moving, and I like the idea of him like his hair's all messy, but as soon as he lands, it just goes back to being like slick back and looking like Superman. I think that'd be funny. Like it'd be very comic booky if they did something like that. But yeah, like I think this was also like highlighting, you know, he was talking about how they use like the drones and stuff. This is clearly a drone thing. I don't know if they did. Would they have done this in reverse, just reverse the footage?
Oh,
or would they have put the camera on the back of the drone?
I think they can have the camera facing the opposite direction, maybe. Like the drone is flying one way and the camera's facing the other. Because
you can clearly tell it's like a drone shot.
Or
like
the drone has 2 cameras, one facing forward, one facing back.
Yeah,
they just change the shots out. So, oh my gosh, this is. Oh my god. Anyway,
has anyone? This is a TikTok brain rot reference. Has anyone seen that British lady called Candy that does the cooking videos? And she cooks the absolute most rank things. Oh, it's just
but I've seen a lot of his videos where people throw like random shit in a pot or a pan and like,
she chucks like frozen bacon into the microwave and expects it to cook, and it just comes out raw, and she still eats it. It's
a lot of people do that shit.
Can you go over to those Lex Luthor shots? The The one
This
in like
No, the ones in the trailer.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha,
yeah, that's
gotcha,
new
yeah.
footage too. The me and Tiles were talking last night, and he pointed out that it looks like he's entering near the fortress, like he's maybe invading the fortress. And he had a really good theory where he said he thinks that Lex made that big monster to distract Superman while he invades the fortress, while he destroys it, and that's where that shot comes in, when he's hugging the robot, because he just like he destroys everything, right? And that's where like his home was destroyed.
I mean, it would make sense because when he shows up in the fortress, his suit looks really battered and burned, and I think that happens after he fights the kaiju. So
I also would like the idea. I don't know if Gunn's going to do it, but if that Ultraman's meant to be a clone, that's how they get into the fortress, is through Ultraman having DNA.
Well, Ultraman's right there behind him, so
yeah.
The only thing that's kind of weird is if he's got Ultraman and Ultraman is a clone of Superman, that means he knows that Superman is Clark Kent, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because he would know what Superman looks like just as a person. Like he would know straight up, like that's who it is.
Unless he's got like a cooked face or something like that.
Yeah.
I still think it's not as too much of a surprise. He looks like he's going to be a combination of Bizarro. I mean, he's got a Doomsday aesthetic with those goggles. I am interested to see what they do with this character.
I really hope that they don't pull a Superman and Lois and just take that idea of this character becoming Doomsday eventually. Like tripping us out with like Bizarro becoming Doomsday, and this one it's Ultraman becoming Doomsday. I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of like hoping that this isn't a character that's just there to like be there for one action scene.
Yeah.
That's also something hope that isn't the case. But wait,
I'm like digging this Luthor all of a sudden. Like I'm seeing this here, and I'm like, this might.
He has a cool vibe. Yeah,
I think it's all about Nicholas Holt's voice because we haven't heard him talk yet. So that's the thing I'm interested, because if you've heard Nicholas, like he has like a high voice. It's not necessarily like a, you know what I mean? He's got like a sort of like a high pitched voice. I'm very interested to see. And I know he's like obviously going to use an accent and stuff, but I'm interested to see how he sounds.
So Cody here, this is another theory I've heard, is that it's actually Parasite as Ultraman, but I don't know.
To be honest, it could be like other combinations here or there. Like,
yeah. I'm so glad I called Lex like so early on, because like back when he was up for Superman, I was like, Superman? He doesn't like. He looks way more like a Lex Luthor.
Well, that's the thing, Zuzadem. Like, imagine if Lex came in and is like, "Oh, Crumpet's in it." Like, if he comes in and talks like that, then all the aura goes out the window, and you're like, "Fuck, what happened there?"
All right. So while we're on the Superman story, before we move on to the next one, Darren, let me know when you got to go. So we'll.
Okay.
So, but we're going to talk about Superman being arrested here.
And it wasn't Dean Cain. It was not Dean Cain.
So Smallville star Tom Welling decided that he was going to go out and drive under the influence, and he got arrested. Now there's more to the story here. We're going to click over to the story.
Can I add a Taco Bell? Oh no,
Arby's, which makes it even worse.
The mugshot. Is he locked in or geeked out? Which one is it?
Geeking out. He was at Arby's. What's he doing?
Tom Welling, best known for playing Clark Kent on the Superman origin story TV show Smallville, had a run-in with the law. TMZ has learned the actor was recently arrested. According to police records obtained by TMZ, the 47-year-old was arrested in an Arby's parking lot in Recca, California, just after midnight on Sunday. Wait, did Arby's open after midnight?
Maybe he wasn't getting Arby's. Maybe just in the car park.
I don't know. That's a little crazy. Where the local police department picked him up for allegedly driving under the influence. His BAL. I don't want to say the actual thing. It's like, what? A brain fart there. Was reportedly at or above 0.08%, which I guess that's it's different state for state. On Sunday, he wished his wife equestrian, which means a horse thing. Jessica Rosalie, happy birthday on Instagram, saying she makes their family's dreams come true and inspires us even more. And then it just kind of goes down here. Anyway, so that's pretty much the whole story there, is that he was at an Arby's. I guess they have the meats. So he was having some meats.
And they must have the booze as well.
Do Arby's sell alcohol?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but who knows?
The ones around here
there.
don't sell alcohol. Can you imagine going to Arby's to order beer? I'll take a 6-pack and some meat. Give me your best meat. Because they got the meats. It's a good thing this happened now and not closer to the movie release, because I feel like stuff like this would get caught up in the cycle. People would see Superman's, actor, arrested for driving under the influence and be like, oh gosh, here we go, before the movie even comes out. That's what I said. Today was a weird day. Like, all these stories kind of coming out at the same time. With such a weird news cycle, honestly. I was getting messages about all kinds of stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, I like Tom Welling, but yeah, don't do this. Like, there are way too many options in 2025 for you to not drive under the influence. For you to, I mean, do you need Arby's that bad? Just DoorDash it. Just DoorDash it. You don't have to go out.
I don't think it was about Arby's. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what was on his mind.
I don't know.
Maybe that might have been why he got picked out, because he might have just been in the car park after hours just by himself.
You mean to tell me you don't sit at home dreaming of Arby's, thinking about that Arby's sandwich?
Ugh.
Curly fries?
I've gone to Arby's once, and I thought it was disgusting.
So, apparently they weren't doing too well, because they didn't used to serve burgers, but they apparently started serving burgers now, which is weird, because it's really not what Arby's was. But look, their Arby fries their curly fries are good, I think. That's the only thing there that's any good. With the cheese sauce, ooh, so good. But not good enough to drive under the influence for. Just DoorDash it. I'm going to believe that it was Arby's. He was at home. He had a bunch of drinks. He really wanted Arby's. He really wanted it. So he's like, I'm going to go out and get it myself. Because he didn't want to pay the delivery tip. So he's like, I'd just rather go out and get it myself.
I mean, what do you think he's saying now that he's in prison? Somebody save me. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Where's 3W in the chat when we need him?
I know. I was like, someone
he was here. He was here earlier. I was going to see if he wanted to talk about this, but he jumped away. So anyway, yeah. So just the feeding for Arby's there, I guess, is what it was. What we had something else I wanted to talk about here. We have a bunch of random Daredevil quotes. But where is it at here? I guess we should talk about the Disney Plus stuff quickly before Darren jumps away. So they released the numbers, and I did a video about this today, where I talked about the Acolyte stuff and everything. So they released the minutes viewed, which I want to say that I hate the way this metric is done. Minutes viewed is such an awful way to determine the success of streaming shows, but they don't really have another way to do it. There's no way to really do it except for minutes viewed, because you would compare something like Percy Jackson to maybe, another show on the service that has like 100 seasons. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what you're up against. But they released the list. Percy Jackson was number one, which did kind of shock me, because I didn't hate the series, but I didn't love it either. But apparently it had like 3 billion minutes viewed. Right behind that is the canceled series, The Acolyte, with like 2.78 billion minutes viewed. So they canceled the second best performing show they had from 2024.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I mean, I have thoughts, because me and Taz were talking about it last night, and again, he's a huge fan of it. I'm kind of on it. It's okay. It's super interesting, because they said that the reason they canceled it was because of the budget, right? Like, they canceled it because the budget was too high to do another season. But if it was really your number 2 show of the year, if it was in your top 5 streaming shows that you're putting out, just lower the budget, right?
Exactly.
If it's doing this well, you can easily slightly lower the budget, and then you're bringing in the income come next year. We have seen, we talk about shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Super and Lois, operate on a not very small budget, but on a much, much, much smaller budget than what these streaming shows are operating on, and do very well for themselves. And I don't think it's a show that needs, like, yes, they have like the big like lightsaber fights and stuff like that, but besides that, there wasn't a lot that I thought like justified the budget they put in outside of filming during COVID, right? Like I think
Yes.
that's the only thing.
Which I think contribute when you look at these inflated budgets for a lot of these projects that didn't do well from that era, it's COVID, right?
Yeah.
But look, I in my video I talked about this. I'm not arguing the quality of these shows. Like I'm not arguing that Percy Jackson is good or bad. The fact is it was the best performing show on the platform. So anything outside of that doesn't really matter, honestly. So whether or not you love The Acolyte or you hate The Acolyte, again, I'm going to reiterate this. I'm not the entertainment police. I'm not here to tell you what you have to watch and what you don't watch. It was the second best performing show by minutes watched on Disney Plus. Meaning that you're right, Darren. They could have negotiated something in the budget to make it more affordable for Disney Plus to continue making the series, because you've left all these fans on a cliffhanger. And how many shows on Disney Plus could arguably be something that could have a reduced budget? Probably a lot of them. I think a lot of them are probably over budget in some way or another, but they keep making them. We've had 3 now, multiple seasons of Mandalorian, right? We've had Book of Boba Fett, which had Mandalorian in it. So they've shoved that into everything. What was stopping them from doing a reduced budget season of The Acolyte? Nothing. There wasn't, I mean, who was the biggest star on that show in terms of like paychecks? Who would we argue was the biggest one?
On The Acolyte?
Yeah.
I mean, she died in episode 1, right?
Right. Carrie Ann Moss.
Yes.
Yeah. Outside of that, maybe a couple of the other characters that died that weren't coming back anyway. So you're going into that second season with a bunch of characters, a bunch of actors that you probably paid a lot of money for that are not coming back for season 2.
Yeah.
You could have cast unknowns in almost every role and saved a ton of money. There was ways you could have done season 2 to make the show more cost affordable for them.
I think they seriously need to readjust how they make their TV shows, because they are putting, and again, COVID was a thing. Obviously, that was a massive thing, but they are putting way too much money into these shows, and I don't think they're getting even half of that back, just in terms of how streaming works.
But Darren, I would stop you there for 1 second. You can finish, but I think the reason why we think of it that way is because they are looking for IP sales on merch at Disney and international sales. Star Wars merchandise brings in a ton of money for Disney. So what they're losing in budget on the shows, they triple and quadruple in merchandise sales. But anyway, finish what you were saying. Sorry.
Oh no, like I was done. I was just saying, like, at least with like network TV, like you can make these shows and you get like advertising and you get stuff like that. You have like 20, you know, you could then sell it to the streamers, and that's how you get your money like that. With streamers, it's all kind of like in the same boat. Like, you know, it's all in house, and you're really doing nothing but, like you said, toys and action figures and merch, but also just trying to get money with your subscription. But if you're keeping the same amount of subscriptions, you're not, from my understanding, earning a lot more money year to year. You're just trying to keep that up, right? You're just trying to keep that money in house. But if you lessen the budgets of these shows, you're saving money. That's how you're going to get more. I don't know. Like again, it's very strange to me. And again, I know COVID was a thing. I know strikes was a thing that, you know, added to these budgets.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you made these shows similar, obviously not the same quality, but like as like CW and ABC and NBC, I think you would. I think people would really appreciate that, and I think you would see a larger income in terms of your money.
Yeah, I was just looking. So it was revealed that as of 3 months ago, that last year in 2024, which was a lower year than normal, they came out and said they actually sold less merch in 2024, probably due to less content, because there wasn't a lot of content last year for Star Wars and Marvel. But the Star Wars merch alone, just Star Wars, crossed over. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
StreamYard went blank for me for a second.
It looked like you were. It looked like you were geeking out. What was that?
Geeking out. Star Wars made over $1 billion in merch sales last year.
Yeah.
990
not
million.
1 million, but
Lego.
1 billion. What were you gonna say? So
990 million of that came from Lego.
Oh yeah, probably.
But
see, the point is, they said here that Disney makes anywhere between 2.7 and $3 billion a year on merch. Yeah. So they're selling, these shows are literally vehicles to sell merchandise. It reminds me a lot of cartoons from the 80s and 90s. The 80s and the 90s cartoons, a lot of them were just there to sell toys.
Right.
That's why they existed. So they spend, 700, what was it? I think it was like 7 at the end of the day, wasn't it? What was the cost of it? Hold on. I know it was like 7 something. The cost of the Acolyte season 1.
7 something.
I think they were saying each episode. Okay, so the total amount, let's see here. The total amount of the season was $230 million to make for the first season.
Yeah.
But I was talking about each episode, they broke down the numbers or whatever, but $230 million for the whole thing. So they paid $230 million for the Acolyte, but end up selling over $1 billion in toys.
Yeah.
For Star Wars.
To be honest, though, I think most of that is still probably like Grogu still.
And
Like,
also you gotta remember that like the specific manufacturers get a cut of that.
Well, they do, but what I'm saying is that was a slow year for them. We're talking about like normal years for them are $3 billion. So a $230 million TV show is nothing compared to $3 billion in merch sales. So
I'm excited to see what that looks like next year with Mandalorian and Grogu and Doomsday coming out. Like both probably $1 billion movies. What are the merch prices going to look like next year?
I mean, I don't know, like with viewership and stuff, I mean, like, did you see what the most viewed show of 2024 was?
Most viewed show? No, I didn't see that.
It's like
Disney
that.
Plus or in general?
In general, it's that like a British mystery series.
Yeah.
What was it called? Like, they got a new one out from the same author.
It would be very hard for like fandom shows to ever be number one. Like most viewed of all
It has to be
time,
like, it has to be, yeah. I was reading the thing and apparently like they've cracked the code, which funnily enough has to like heavily appeal to females. Like that's like
because females
the
watch a lot more stuff at home, right? Like women watch more things.
Yeah, like especially like so like.
Well, why do we think that sitcoms and like all of these? Do you guys remember that stupid? I always go back to this. That stupid presentation they did at the beginning when Discovery took over Warner Brothers, and they talked about things that people watch and stuff like that. The reality is that like a lot of those baking shows, cooking competitions, all those things, people put those on in the background and they just play. So that counts towards like streaming numbers. They might not even be paying attention to it. It might just be in the background. So yeah, I never expect anything in the fandom. Like the fact that Marvel did so well in movies over the years was almost an anomaly in itself because it is a niche thing. But TV shows and stuff, it's the actual competitiveness of TV is much bigger than movies. Because there's always, like, I could literally watch new things every single day on TV if I went through all my streaming services and just watch things I've never watched before. Eventually, you're watching movies during the year, you're going to run out of, even if you watch every big movie in the year, it's never going to take up your whole year. But you can spend a whole year watching new TV shows. Easily.
Yeah.
And still
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Is it Fail Me Once or is it Fool Me Once? Fail Me Once sounds like a...
Cody with the $2 super chat here says the original budget was $180 million prior to COVID. So yeah, they went up quite a bit, $50 million, because of like filming during COVID. So,
you know what, everyone in the chat, you have to suggest a show for Eric to watch so he can catch up. He's just said that there's so much for him to watch.
There's too much. I can't watch it all. You know. We are halfway through to our goal right now. The winning poll number is an MCU TV show ranking. So that's at 38%. So if you guys want to do that as a bonus topic or stream, we need 5 more super chats.
You know what you should put
as
a goal, not today, obviously, maybe like the next stream or something, is the return of the car review. But like retro car review.
Yeah, maybe.
So you can take out your 66 Mustang, the blinged up thing.
I've got one right in my backyard right now. Yeah. Lone Wolf, I see your other super chat. I'm going to bring up the concept. I think it's concept art for that or some fan art or whatever. We'll talk about that in a second. But I just wanted to show the popcorn bucket for the Red Hulk. And I don't know what theater this is, but what chain this is. But there's 2 different ones. This is one of them.
You know what that would be good for?
This one right here. Yeah.
A Beyblade battle. Like, that'd be pretty... It's very vertical, but it'd probably still work.
I really like the shield one that they put out where it's like
yeah, we're gonna look at that one now. I'm
Okay.
gonna pull that one up as well. But what do we like? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10 of popcorn bucket excellence, where are we ranking the Red Hulk popcorn bucket?
Well, it looks usable at the very least. Like some of these popcorn buckets that come out look stupid. At least it doesn't look like it's going to take up a seat to hold it. Looks like you can put it on your lap probably.
I'm gonna give it a strong Red Hulk, like 6.57, I think.
Yeah.
On this one.
Yeah, I'd say it's like 7 popcorns out of 10.
Okay, that's a good one. Paigey, would you recommend this one? Would you?
I mean, it's better than like I would say the majority of the ones that I see like coming out. I mean, I'd probably give it a solid. Is it just a bucket? Do you get a drink, or does it come with a cup or something?
You have to pay separate, probably.
Yeah, it's separate.
Okay, I'll probably give it.
It's like $40 for these popcorn buckets.
Yeah, without the popcorn as well.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Here's the one I think that Darren's talking about, which is the actual like Brave New World one. Hold on, I'll show you. Here we go.
Oh, that looks stuff.
Yeah,
Stop this music.
It's just a toy. Like it's not even a popcorn toy.
Reminds me of Buzz Lightyear. Like
that one's a little weird.
brains.
I actually like the cup.
Well, the cup's good because it actually is it's a fucking cup.
That bucket's not bad either. I like that bucket.
That's the type of thing we get in Australia. That's the type of thing with like these things.
It's actually raised up. It's got like some sort of texture to it.
That's
yeah.
Ooh, okay. Please have this at my theater. Please have this one at my theater. I want the Red Hulk cup for sure.
I kind of want the yeah.
Well, at least you can take it home and reuse it like casually. No, look, hold on, everyone. Let me pull out my wings here. Hold on, I have to launch my wings so I can drink it.
So, what was it? Like 4 or 5 months ago, we were talking about like how to save movie theaters, and I mentioned Funko Pops. My theater has recently started to sell like Funko Pops.
I've seen shelves of toys in my theater.
Well, no, but that's the thing. Like theaters here sell them, but they should make exclusive Funko Pops. Like you go to a Regal or you go to an AMC or something, and you can get an exclusive Captain America, and you have to buy a ticket to the movie to buy it.
Yeah,
as well. Because with these, and I think the theaters lose out. Sorry, that the studios miss out. They should make it that like, hey, if you want to buy the popcorn bucket, you have to buy a ticket to the movie. You can't just walk, because that's the thing. People go in, they just buy the popcorn bucket, and then what do? They go home and try and sell it on eBay.
I actually think that the theaters do that because the theaters take a lot of profit off of these that the studio doesn't.
And they don't care what, and the cinemas probably don't care about whatever the person does with that bucket when they get home.
Yeah, the Marvel Rivals stuff is going crazy right now. So I've seen people tell me, like, I had to DJ a wedding this weekend. And some of the people at the wedding were telling me that they are playing Marvel Rivals, and now they're excited about like the Brave New World and the Fantastic Four movie. So
it's working.
So this version of the bucket here with the shield and the wings on it, what are we giving this one on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, the buckets does the wings come off?
No, they pop out, but that's it.
No, but does that backpack with the drink come off the bucket?
Oh, it looks like it does. Yeah, it looks like it does.
Okay,
Could you imagine trying to...
I was going to say, like, you go for a drink and you to popcorn.
Well, that's why they give you the shield. They give you the shield to put on every time you go to drink, so that way you can fill your popcorn.
You even see a little, like, your 5-year-old kid or something. It's like, oh, I forgot the shield. There's, like, popcorn everywhere.
Can you imagine? What, like, already... So... Have you guys ever been in a movie theater after a movie to see how disgusting the floor is with to clean up afterwards?
No, you know what's the worst is that you could be sitting in the back and everyone's fine, and the closer and closer you get down to the front to leave the theater, you just see more and more popcorn in the aisles.
It's like it rolled down the aisles. Yeah.
Yeah, or it was just some like some avalanche of stupidity and clumsiness with the popcorn.
So I'm excited. These tickets just went on sale today for my local theater. So I'm going to go grab tickets now. I've already talked to some friends. We're going to buy out a full aisle. But my movie theater, I've talked about this before, it's weird because it's a dining, like you eat there. So everything's got like a table in front of it and stuff. So, you know, you have to sort of buy out a table because otherwise you could have one random person. Like some dude just shows up and he's sitting at the table eating with you. So
for everyone that doesn't know, last time Eric went to the theater, he got hard-boiled eggs as his meal. theater.
I did not get hard-boiled eggs. I did not.
Stank up the theater.
I don't
Also
want some
had
random
tuna.
person coming and sitting at my table, so you almost always have to buy 4 tickets. It's kind of genius, but it's also annoying. Because if you're going to the movie by yourself, if you don't get one of the individual seats, you end up sitting at a table with random people.
And someone's got their like
So-
sticky nacho hands or something. Go, hold on, can I have
Could you
some
imagine?
M&Ms?
So you get a large pizza and you just want to eat it by yourself, because I mean that's kind of what I do. But you just want to eat this large pizza by yourself, and some dude shows up. He's like, "Hey, is this for everybody? Did you get it for the whole table?" It's like sitting there in the middle. It's like awkward. This other person sitting. What if they order a large pizza? Then you got 2 fucking large pizzas sitting at your table. It's chaos. No, it's not an Alamo Draft House. It's a local chain called Cinema Cafe. There's like 7 or 8 of them, but they're extremely popular in my area. We don't have a lot of the big theaters. Like there's not a lot of Regals or AMCs nearby where I'm at, because these theaters are so good. They pretty much taken all of the business, which
It's just
there
bad
are-
when a big movie comes out and you have to wait.
yeah, because you have to wait. Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't even matter to them because they sell like premium meals. So you go in and you can order like
That sounds
really good food. So yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, if you don't get tickets early, you don't get tickets. Look, that's why I didn't get to see Wicked for like the first 3 weeks it was out, because of the theaters and stuff. So it was
But-
annoying.
You found a way to go see The Sound of Freedom 3 times. So
Yeah, I saw it so many times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm gonna take this opportunity to head out.
all right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Darren. I
uh,
appreciate it.
Good night, fellas.
Take
I will
care.
listen to the rest tomorrow. Bye bye.
All right, so we have. Let me see. I don't know if this is real art or not, but I want to. It's probably not. It's probably some fan art or AI art or something. Where's this at? Yeah, it goes along with the super chat that I'm sitting on. Sitting on a super chat.
sitting
Hey,
on
hey,
super
hey!
chat.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
chill out.
yeah.
Chill out there. I think it's just fan art, but I will pull it up here and then we'll. Yeah, this is fan
Okay,
art.
well,
All
quick
right.
thing on this. So this is fan art, but on a side thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're the same, Eric. If you ever use someone else's artwork in a thumbnail or video, usually credit the artist in the like the description of the video. and stuff.
If I know, if it's obvious who the artist is, like if I don't know
Okay,
who it is,
this
I
guy-
usually don't. Yeah.
if anyone, I can't remember what his name is. It's something, but he uses AI for his artwork. He actually uses
Oh.
like generative AI, so
Okay.
you don't have to shout him out. You can just use the artwork.
Okay,
and just-
good. We can just
it
use his
looks
art
good,
without saying so.
But
yeah.
he uses generative AI.
Yeah, yeah.
So just like,
Okay. So
no-
this is a
no link to
representation
you.
that I don't know who this person is because it's shared like through multiple accounts anyway. But Lone Wolf $2 super chat said, "I heard a rumor, saw a rumor Ryan Gosling eyed for Ghost Rider." I think this is actually like, I'm not big on necessarily fan casting, but this to me works. Like I think this is a perfect role for him. Like Johnny Blaze, I think it's 100%. I'm on board with this. Like I have no problem with this whatsoever. I think you can play Danny Ketch, maybe not so much, but Johnny Blaze, I'm totally on board with. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, especially because it's like I think like there's always hesitance when people go into like comic book roles, unless like you're like an up and comer. Like, of course you're gonna take it because there's the money. But Ryan Gosling's done a bunch of stuff where he doesn't necessarily need to do that. So if he's going to do a project, he probably wants to do one where maybe he has some knowledge of it, but also one that he can just sort of have fun with, and you can be a bit over the top if you want to with Ghost Rider and have some fun with it. You don't necessarily have to do like an overly nuanced performance or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it'd work. I mean, I guess it'd work. So I don't think anyone would be complaining about it, going no. Like I think
Would you want to see like if he did play the Danny Ketch version? Would you want to see Nicolas Cage return like in the battle?
So what's the
world,
difference? Because I'm not down with my Ghost Rider lore.
So the one that we saw in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is obviously, I think, the most recent Ghost Rider, but there's been a few of them over the years. So Johnny Blaze, unless I'm wrong here, was the first Ghost Rider that we actually saw in comic books, but there's actually a history of past Ghost Riders. So the OG motorcycle, the old school like roadster type motorcycle, was the Johnny Blaze one.
There's a guy on a horse though, isn't there? Like a cowboy.
That's an older one. The second iteration of Ghost Rider, I think it was the second one, was the Danny Ketch one, which is one of the most popular ones. That's the one that I believe, because each Ghost Rider has like their special ability or whatever. I'm pretty sure Danny Ketch was the one that had the penance stare, and they just kind of gave it to everybody after that. But he was the one that had that stare that makes you relive all of your past sins or whatever. So he was the one that had the weird 80s motorcycle with like the eyes kind of on the front that looked like more modern, like the more of like the racing motorcycles, I guess you could say. So so Danny Ketch was that version. I see Ryan as more of a Johnny Blaze version, but they'll probably make him Danny only because Danny really hasn't been represented in live action that I can remember. I think it's been Johnny, and then they've even done other iterations of Ghost Rider, like on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that. So he's seen other versions and things like that, but we've never seen the Danny version. So I'm pretty sure if I had to take a guess that they're going to go with the Danny version. So, but if they get him as Ghost Rider and then he's also in Star Wars, like Fettman says, he's going to be really busy. But look, I believe Ryan is up for it. He is what I would consider probably a modern day, like Hollywood guy. Like that's the vibe he gives me. Like he reminds me of like the classic 80s and 90s, like Hollywood guy, but in modern times. So I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up multiple roles.
Well, there's also a thing like I think guys like him and girls like him.
Yeah.
And that's like always the perfect combination. Like people go watch him in an action movie or something like that, but then people will go watch him, like girls will go watch him because they think he's hot.
Well, the Reyes version was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Really, really solid performance. They were Gabriel Luna, I think, is the actor who played this character. They were going to give him a separate show. If you want to see it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would definitely recommend watching the seasons with Ghost Rider. They're actually really, really good, to be honest. All right, let's see what else we got here. This one's here we go, Paigey. Ulrich Thompson has been cast to play DC supervillain Sinestro in HBO's Lanterns. Thoughts on this?
I saw people surprised by this, but I'm like, I'm not overly surprised that Sinestro is going to be in there. I thought they'd have some sort of element of the other side of the Lantern Corps, like Spectrum sort of thing. So I'm not overly surprised by this. I think it's more like how he fits into the show. Like, is he meant to be an antagonist, or is he more there to play into like the background of Hal Jordan, maybe some stuff that happened prior in this universe? But also, I think we might see a lot more Lanterns, but he's the only other one that has like a bit of a humanoid thing going on, where he's just going to be painted pink.
And even painted pink, I feel like he could get away with like hiding out on Earth if he wanted to, honestly. Because he is humanoid.
Well, there's people like Metamorpho walking around and stuff like that. But I think it's more like I'm interested to see who else is in there if they do that, because everyone else would just be a voice acting role.
Well, you know what this does for me though? This is the first thing I've seen since the beginnings of the castings for the show where I've been like, okay, Sinestro, all right. I feel a little bit better about it now because I think that this is a good sign. But what I wonder is, does that mean we're not going to see Sinestro in the movies?
I think it maybe leans into that. Because John Stewart is clearly going to be the main Green Lantern going forward, and Sinestro's clearly a Hal Jordan Green Lantern villain. Like in the comics, yes, John Stewart has encountered Sinestro and taken him on, I'm pretty sure, but he's not like John Stewart has his own villains as a Green Lantern. So I think that's where you'd focus on in going forward. So I think they know, and that's why it doesn't really surprise me too much, is because we don't really expect either Hal Jordan to either live through this entire thing or at least maybe give it up come the end of it to the point where it is just John Stewart going forward, at least as like the main one. That they put Sinestro in here because he's not going to be used going forward, at least in any major way, in regards to a main antagonist for the Green Lanterns. So, and that might be because like when John Stewart's there, maybe that's when they do Red Lantern Corps or something like that. So so I think this is like their chance. Like this is the time if they were going to use Sinestro, it makes the most sense to, because at least Hal Jordan's going to be a main player in this series.
Right. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We didn't talk about this, Paigey. Pringles have collaborated with Miller Lite to release beer can chicken flavored chips.
Beer can chicken? What the fuck is beer can chicken?
I'm not even sure, but this is crazy to me. It sounds disgusting. I'm definitely not going to stand in line for these. I will say, though, Pringles have some pretty weird flavors. Like, internationally, you can order all kinds of different types of Pringles. So I feel like there's probably other gross flavors besides this one, but this one's pretty disgusting, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
It's a country thing. It's a country thing. Okay.
I mean, I can.
Wait! Is it the one where you put the beer cans in the actual chicken when you cook it?
When you open the beer
what it
can.
is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Right? Am I wrong? Hold on. Let me see. Let's look this up. I'm very curious now. Beer can chicken. All right. So beer can chicken is a barbecued chicken. The method of indirect grilling, usually a partially filled can of beer that is placed in the chicken's cavity prior to cooking. The chicken is then stood up on its legs vertically and slow cooked over direct heat, usually over a gas or charcoal grill.
So like the beer like evaporates and stuff by being cooked and goes into the chicken like meat. I think you just ate a fucking normal. Oh, that looks. Looks like something from a Saw movie. Let's play a game. Stick a beer can
oh, look at all the moisture down under the can, like all that dripping.
I'm sure the chicken's juicy, but I think there's other ways to do it. Like, you know.
Oh no! It looks like it's locked in for sure.
No, that's geeking out. It's like one man, one jar territory.
Oh no! Oh god, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's painful.
That is actually a deep cut internet thing that a lot of people may not get. But
yeah, I think you have to be like over. God, you have to be like over like 20, at least over 20 to have maybe been. I got forced to watch that, by the way. I was that was not very good. The one man, one jar experience.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Pain Olympics. God. Yeah.
Oh, gross! Stop. Just stop while we're ahead.
Well, speaking of Pringles,
yeah.
These are the flavors in Australia. We have sour cream and onion, original. I just go for the original. I'm a originals Pringle guy. I think they taste the best. I don't mind the sour cream and onion ones though. We have barbecue. Oh, just barbecue. Salt and vinegar, sizzling chipotle sour cream, zesty. Was it zesty chili and lime? That's an Eric flavor. And Japanese sticky teriyaki. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, party stack. God, you're keen. Imagine that up your ass like that.
Let's not imagine that.
It says the one who has this picture of the chicken on screen still.
Well, let's switch over to this instead.
Beautiful segue.
Uh-huh. All right. Why do I eat before I talk? I don't understand why I do that.
Yeah.
So disgusting.
Were those Pringles, were you eating them before? You just did that Pringles section like you...
I have a little snack tray over here full of stuff. I got some cookies over here, some M&Ms, things like that. So...
Oh, you haven't grabbed the M&Ms yet?
Not yet, no. So this is a movie where it's like... I believe this is, so far visually and what I've read about this, it sounds to me like this could have been a perfect Blade movie, to be honest. So Ryan Coogler centers, vampires are not the only supernatural element in the film. By the way, you've heard of this, right? We've talked about this a little bit before, correct?
Yeah, where he's playing both the vampires. And it's pretty clear that Jonathan Majors was probably going to play one of the vampires.
Yeah.
Alongside.
Big L on that one. Big L. Christopher Nolan gave advice on filming the movie with 65mm, and composer Ludwig Göransson was on set daily and earned an executive producer credit. I think this is going to be really good, but I am a little concerned about the dual roles. If that makes any sense.
I'm concerned that like this poster looks awful. Like this poster tells you nothing. The movie's about vampires. It looks like he's like in World War II or something. He's like,
maybe he is.
Like it's a bad poster. Like I'm wondering, like this doesn't tell you anything unless like you knew it was a vampire movie. You can go, okay, well those people in the background, maybe they're vampires and stuff, but you can't see his teeth. Is he meant to be a vampire? Or is he hunting vampires? He is a vampire in this, isn't he?
I think one of the two is most likely.
Yeah, but like. I don't know, maybe when does it come out? What's the date that comes out?
let's see. Brian Coogler, Sinners. It's this year. April of this year. April 18th.
Okay. You'd like to think they'd release maybe a better post that highlights that it's a vampire movie. Because this, like, it looks more like zombies. Yeah, like Zuzadem's saying.
So you would think this was zombies if you saw this?
Well, yeah, especially it looks like Dawn of the Dead. Like, it's sort of like a Dawn of the Dead sort of poster.
I heard someone
like
say it looks like it's
Dusk Till Dawn.
AI. Like it was AI or whatever.
I don't think so. I think everyone just uses that over the top now. Everything's AI.
I think a lot of people say it's AI because they know what AI looks like to them, so they think anything that looks that way is AI, I guess. Let's see, what else do we have here? I do want to talk about the Tom Cavanagh thing, but we're going to save that for a moment. I guess we should have talked about the drama around Captain America, the Anthony Mackie
Captain
stuff.
America drama.
Did you see any of that?
I saw parts of it, but I wasn't like I didn't see it as it happened.
Let me see. All right, let me pull this up here. So there was an I don't know if it was an interview. I think he was at a panel. Anyway, let's do this. So Anthony Mackie on what Captain America represents. This pretty much gave fuel to the fire. We talked about the channels that love to be mad about stuff. This gave like major fuel to the fire. So here is the.
For me, Captain America represents.
Hold on, let's see. Here we go. Check this out.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of. This is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there. That stick is really a sword and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day somebody told him, no, there are no dragons, that's not a sword, and that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So, as an actor, I feel like our job is to get back to the day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save that princess. And that's kind of what this movie was for me.
What's really crazy before you jump into anything there?
Yeah.
He really needs to jump into Will Smith's like just slot after Will. His mannerisms are so Will Smith, and even his voice sounds a lot like Will Smith.
You mean like in that spot, like the charismatic,
like the way he
guy
enunciates things and stuff like that, and like mostly his voice sounds so much like Will Smith. It's not even funny. I'm surprised
I get that.
Anyone that wants to cast Will Smith was like, oh fuck, is this dude gonna slap someone again on the set?
Oh no!
Cast Anthony Mackie.
So I want to say that this quote here. First of all, I want to say I didn't understand a fucking thing about the whole dragon slaying stuff. I'll be honest with you. I felt like that was such a weird segue to that. But anyway, he says, for me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor and dignity and integrity. That's kind of the thing. Well, that, and there's one other statement that he made that people are a little upset about. What is your takeaway from that as somebody who's not in America? Because I'd like to hear what someone thinks about that isn't like, America, fuck yeah. Like, I want to know what that statement sounds like to you.
I don't know, if I think Captain America, I don't necessarily, and maybe it's just because he as a non-American, I don't see Captain America as like a worldwide thing. I think it is really an American thing, like in regards to even what the character represents, especially when it comes to like even like the army and stuff like that. If you go to this, probably Steve Rogers, but even just military in general, because Sam Wilson was in the military, right. So I think it's very American coded. Like I'm sure, like obviously, like someone outside America can connect to it and stuff like that. But in regards to representation, like at a baseline, I think it's pretty America. Like I don't really as an Australian, I don't really have any like over the top connection to a Captain America as a mantle or anything like that.
Right. So this comment doesn't really mean much to you, right? Like you're not upset.
No, and I think it's like I think it'd be different if like he was say like a British actor or something saying and playing Captain America, like how you get that sometimes.
Yeah. So he clarified here. He came back, and this was from his from an Instagram post. Let me be clear. It's crazy he has to say this, but anyway, let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served in our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to. I think the way he said it, the way you're saying it to me, the way you're explaining to me, and the way he said it, it all comes together as that. Like that's what he meant. But a lot of people got offended. Let's be clear here. They were looking to be offended by him anyway.
Probably.
So, I mean, the very fact that they were already upset that this guy is Captain America, they're already like mad about that. They were just waiting for him to say something. And when I saw this clip and I heard him saying this, I was like, oh, fuck. Here we go again. 100 videos are going to come out about this. It's going to be in everybody's recommended that Captain America hates America. Because that's the narrative they're going to go with. Captain America hates America, right? Which is so fucking stupid. It's such a dumb fucking thing to even run with. Because that's not what he said.
No.
But that's what they're going to run with. That's what they're going to go with. Because that's going to get the clicks. People are going to click on it. They're never going to talk about this, where he clarified what he was saying. This is going to be... They'll never do this. Those videos will stay up for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Even after the movie is in theaters for a while, they're going to stay up.
And it's also important to remember that he's asked this on the spot. It's not a pre-determined question or anything like that. Like this is something he's asked on the spot and has to give an answer to. Like he can't just go, like give like a half-assed answer. He tried to give an answer that like with some meaning, I guess, to it. Though I don't necessarily agree with it, but then again, it's like that's also my viewpoint. As I said, he's an American saying it. Like if you're an American playing Captain America, you would hope it has a global appeal and global outreach and stuff like that. And
absolutely,
you'd hope
100%.
that. So while I don't agree with it, and that's because I'm coming from my experience looking and going, I don't really connect with the character that much. That's what he would hope, and that's what he's saying.
The way I look at this is Anthony Mackie as this character was well liked in the MCU. I don't remember anybody saying that they thought he was bad as Falcon, that he wasn't a great actor. Like, I never heard any criticism about him until Steve gave Sam the shield. And then, this awful. This is fucking awful. He's going to be so bad at it. In what way? Did he do something as Falcon that makes people think he's going to be bad just wearing a shield all of a sudden? Because let's be clear, that's the only thing that really changed. Is he got the shield and the suit is red, white, and blue. He's still the same guy. So what changed? It's baffling to me. What changed about this character that all of a sudden now we don't like Anthony Mackie and we don't like Sam? Because Steve had the nerve to pass the mantle on to him? So now we deserve to just universally dislike this guy? I don't get it. Because look, Anthony Mackie as a person outside of an acting has had lots of controversy about the way he's treated fans. Like we've seen people say all that. I saw him at the gas station and he didn't want to take a picture with me and all this other. We've heard these little arguments about it. But outside of that, I don't think that anyone has complained about him in the MCU up until the point that Steve Rogers gave him the shield.
Yeah, I think if you complain about it, you probably don't. I mean, to me, isn't this like? I feel like he's the one that makes the most sense in regards to not just helping the character of Sam Wilson, but also I think it's better keeping Bucky / Winter Soldier. I think that makes more sense. And I think, to be completely honest, I think Anthony Mackie is more likely the one that probably would want to be Captain America anyway. Like Sebastian Stan, and also it's important to remember like. They're going about like nationalism and patriotism. Like Sebastian Stan is pretty vocal that he sees himself as Romanian American. Yeah. Well, Anthony Mackie would just call himself a true-blooded American. Like he's born, raised in America. Like, where's he from? What state is he from? Do you know when he was born?
I think he's from Louisiana. He's in the South, right? I think he's from Louisiana, somewhere like that. So
I don't know. I feel like that would be a better representation, at least passing on from Steve Rogers. It's not like they recast Steve Rogers.
No, but let's okay. Before we move on from this, because I do want to talk about a couple more things before we end the stream. And actually, we've got a while left. Let's see how much time we've got left on the tip goal. We got an hour, so we got an hour, you guys. An hour left to reach the goal. Okay. We got plenty of time.
And also that's right as well. Like they want Bucky, a guy who murdered people, to be Captain America when Sam was and also like in regards to like a present day military member and stuff like that as well. Like
I would be opposed to Bucky being Cap based on the fact that look where Bucky was when Cap retired as a character. Sure, Bucky has come a long way since that. If you look at his character arc up until now and then going into Thunderbolts, a lot of things have changed. But at the time when Steve was ready to pass that shield on to somebody else, when he was ready to give up the mantle, the only logical decision was Sam.
All I could think of when you said that thing, the Steve thing, was that Minecraft clip. I'm Steve.
Oh, yeah. but yeah, you're not going to give the shield to someone that has been an assassin that worked for Russia to come in and take over for you as Captain America. It doesn't make any sense. Logically, in the MCU, chronologically, logistically, where they were at that point in time. Is there a storyline down the future where they might say, oh yeah, we want to give Bucky the shield for XYZ reason. We want to do it in Elseworlds. We want to see a version of that, in Secret Wars. Is there a place for that to happen? Absolutely. But I don't think he was the right choice in the MCU. Even though I love the Winter Soldier, I just don't think he would be the right choice to be Captain America. He had a bunch of stuff he had to work out that they hadn't even touched on.
Weren't you suggesting Soldier Boy tell him as Sam Wilson?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
what I was
years ago before 100%. Yeah, except he wanted to Superman that host, so we can't. It's another franchise.
Yeah, but that's throwing DC under the bus. That's not. It's not like saying Spider-Man.
But let's be clear here, though, Paige. The other thing about this Captain America situation is there are people who have said that Captain America is not a mantle to get passed on when it comes to Sam, but then they're totally okay with Bucky getting the mantle, even though they've said that it's not a mantle to get passed on. So there's really only one reason in that community why they would be okay with the mantle being passed to Bucky, but not to Sam, even though they've said Steve Rogers is their Captain America. But then, asterisk, Bucky could also be their Captain America, but not Sam. Sam's not allowed to be Captain America. I'm going to let everybody just sit on that for a moment. Get locked in on that one. There we go.
Is it because Anthony Mackie has facial hair?
That's it. That's the reason. I am glad that
might be why.
Right, because Cap has to be no beard, no nothing.
So that would rule out Eric, because that's why Eric is so offended by that discrimination.
Yeah. It bothered me a lot. Hold on, we gotta close some tabs here as we get through this. We got a bunch of Daredevil stuff. I guess we should talk about the controversy on that. Let's see, where is it at here? Which one? Okay. I've got a challenge in 2025 to anybody making any sort of quote unquote grounded crime drama shows. And just stop comparing everything to Sopranos in 2025.
Oh God, another one. We had Penguin at the end of last year. Now Daredevil.
Yeah. Daredevil Born Again will be a New York crime story with elements of The Sopranos, confirmed showrunner Dario Scartapane, I think. Scartapane. Cool name, by the way. It has a pace and scope for that for a lot of reasons Netflix wasn't able to do, which is fine. But please, this is like, I feel like this is one of those things where I'm so tired of hearing this as a comparison to everything that comes out that I will be glad if people stop saying this. I don't want to hear this anymore. Yeah, The Sopranos was fantastic, but not everything has to be The Sopranos. So annoying. Let's see, what else do we have here? So many different little quotes. Let's see here, this one. Daredevil Born Again will be much darker than Netflix Daredevil. What do you think about that? Do you believe that? Do you not believe that?
I don't know. Saying the term much means like makes you think it's gonna be a lot. Like, to be fair, I think people overdo how like. I mean, maybe the Netflix show was literally dark, as in like set a lot at night, but like
Did it have enough light?
there wasn't much gruesome stuff from memory. Like, I know there was some stuff where you saw blood and maybe like heavy violence was insinuated or something, but it wasn't too like over the top. But the M&Ms are out. I knew it wasn't
No, not M&Ms.
too long. Skittles. Wait, it sounded like M&Ms. What are they? Cookies? Chips Ahoy?
They are Chips Ahoys. Yeah.
Chewy.
Because I don't want to be crunching into the microphone. Don't be mad.
I'm furious.
How about this one, Paige? They compared the show to Penguin. We're even more grounded.
Now we're going
Even
like full circle. Penguin was compared to Sopranos, Daredevil compared to Sopranos, but now Daredevil compared to Penguin.
No. This quote makes me so concerned because it doesn't make any sense. But let me read it anyway. We're even more grounded, even less stylized, even more rooted in the here and now. I loved Penguin. We're a little faster, meaner, cleaner in our storytelling.
Hold on, I need to look at Dario Scarpane.
Mm-hmm.
It looks a bit like you, Eric.
Oh, does he? Hold on, let me look him up.
His glasses at the very least.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, you know, glasses can change someone.
He doesn't look like me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but he has glasses.
No. This is that stupid fan fighting shit that I wish they didn't do. They don't think about this when they do it because they don't know. But
imagine, look at Short Car's comment.
Right. So we're like with Penguin, but less stylized. More rooted in the here and now. Like Penguin was so downgraded in terms of like visuals. Like it was not a superhero show. So you're telling me that I'm turning into Daredevil, a show about a superhero, and you're going to be less stylized and more grounded? I don't even know anymore.
We're like the Penguin, but we just didn't put in as much effort.
Right. Yeah, that part. Oh my gosh. There's so many of these quotes from these interviews where I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like this one right here. What is this? The earlier show at its best was fantastic. At its worst, it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I felt that had been done. I'm not taking swipes. I just didn't want to hear characters grousing about their lot in life.
But you know what the thing is that that's what builds the characters up and makes you care. But at the same time, to play devil's advocate for his thing, I don't think his job is to do that. We already know these characters.
Right.
I'm sure there's revisiting and stuff like that, but I mean, like, I think the intention with this show is that, like, I don't know if there's ever been someone asked, like, hey, can someone come in and just watch this show, or do you have to watch the other seasons? Because I feel like that's going to play off, especially if you see, like, the Punisher show up.
Look, Ethan says, what the fuck does navel gazing even mean? Because I was at the top. A lot less navel gazing than before. I've never heard that term before.
Navel? Isn't that your fucking belly button?
Yeah.
Does he mean nasal? As in your nose? Because he smells?
Then we have this one here where it talks about She-Hulk showing up or whatever. Those events happened, but some of them we're not leaning into. AKA, you might get like the costume color somewhere in the room where he's changing, but we're not going to mention it at all. That's
he looks at
pretty
like
much
the yellow helmet. Like, oh yes, that's what I wore when I had sex with She-Hulk. Memories.
Right, they're not going to mention.
Why was I in Los? Wasn't that show set in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Why was I in Los Angeles?
He was there for an upgrade to his suit. I think that's what he was there for, because he needed like something.
What happened to that
suit.
dude in New York? Did he die or something?
No, he didn't die. So I don't know. I don't remember.
Trades Taylor.
I haven't watched much of it.
It's like you go to a different McDonald's, Eric, and they just know when you roll up for that next Big Mac. It's like, where were you last week?
So we did have Charlie talking here, though. Marvel looked at the episodes, talking about the overhaul they did on the show, which, by the way, probably the best thing they've ever done. Marvel looked at the episodes and knew it wasn't quite working. We shot a whole new pilot, and they reorganized what we had filmed to make it feel more like the show we had shot in all those years previously. So very smart, a little more self-aware. That's really good. And we have this. I think this is the last bit of Daredevil. No. There's one more. Oh, here he goes. That's Dario right there, Paigey. There you go, right there on screen.
Yeah, it looks a bit like you.
The overhaul, he goes, the footage had some really strong points, but it wasn't feeling in line with what Daredevil had been established to be. At the very end of the Netflix show, Foggy, Karen, and Matt had a dream written out in the back of a napkin. We start with the dream. It's not a dream that needs much explanation. 3 good friends go into business together. And the last thing here is from Charlie. The argument is, if we're coming back after all these years, we don't want to just do exactly the same thing. Marvel looked at the episode. Oh, this is a continuation. But there was a U-turn after the strike where we had direction, and it was interesting and valid. Okay. So, anyway, I'm still excited for it, but all that extra shit was unnecessary, to be honest. Like, the Sopranos shit, talking about, what was it, how it's not as stylized. Like, we don't need all that. We don't need all that. That's unnecessary. All right, let's see. Hold on. Oh, here we go, Paige. Some Ironheart news.
Ah, yes. My most anticipated show of 2025.
So, Zeke Stain, Obadiah Stain's son in Ironheart, goes by the alias
Did you say
Joe...
Zeke?
Is it Zeke?
Zeke.
I thought it's Zeke. Is it not?
No,
Zeke?
it's Zeke.
I think it's Zeke. We'll see when the show comes out.
It's not like a zucchini. It's Zeke.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Zeke.
Or Tatsiki. Or Tatsiki. It's Zeke.
Joe McGillicuddy is the alias he goes by. Riri Williams goes after him for a secret stash of black market tech to upgrade her new armor, and he appears in several episodes. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's doing.
So he's not
outside.
So he's not evil. He's not like an antagonist.
I don't think so.
Look, Paige is right. Paige is correct. I mean, what's new? What's new?
I mean, we don't know till the show comes out.
Oh, what? So you're expecting us to get into episode 2 of Ironheart, and Zeke has said,
be Zeki.
"Hello, I am Zeke."
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Why
So,
not?
Lone Wolf chiming in on the Daredevil interview. $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Either they are picking the worst out of context segments of this interview to blast everywhere, or this guy has zero tact with his press work. Try Dario. Probably, I found that directors seem to have the worst time with interviews because I don't think a lot of them want to deal with the press. I think they just want to work on their movie and call it a day. But the studios make them go out and talk to people, you know? Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Paigey?
I don't know. I think it's also like because he's like a producer. I don't know if he's I don't know. Maybe he's just not used to talking, especially for like a big show like this.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. There's so many things that I bookmarked today because I was like, so many things popped up before I went to work. Let's see what else we have here. What do we have in the pipeline? Oh, here's one. This is interesting. It also applies to Agatha all along. So apparently Marvel wanted to do a WandaVision season 2, but the showrunner said no. And pretty much that's the same reason there's no Agatha all along season 2 is because the creative team didn't want to do anything after it. So what can you do? I don't know how WandaVision season 2 would have even looked, to be honest. Right?
You know what you could have done with that? Like, well, because you had to like bring Wanda back alive, unless it was meant to be just with the kids or something.
What would you do
like
with
that?
Vision? Because Vision would have to be in it. It's called WandaVision.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
yeah, I agree. It doesn't make sense for either of those shows to have a season 2. I think the characters from Agatha will definitely see them again, but I don't think there's any reason for a season 2. Oh, Defunct says I bet his full name is Ezekiel. Probably. So
I mean, Ezekiel?
yeah. Didn't see either of y'all on Party Nation today.
Why are you on the casting couch in that photo, Lance?
That's funny. White Vision, I believe, is coming back in what was it? I think they said Armor Wars at one point, but
We're getting Black Vision and Asian Vision. Are we getting?
yeah. Who knows? But yeah, so that's why they're not getting it. But look, I think Agatha was always intended to be a one and done season. So I know a lot of people wanted to see a season 2, but I don't think they ever expected to do a second season. So
yeah, I don't know. Have you been watching anything over the past week or so? Like shows or?
I mean, yeah, I watch stuff, but I've been
You just don't stare at a
rewatching.
brick wall, I'm assuming.
No, I've been rewatching What We Do in the Shadows from season 1.
I've never watched the show, but I really like the movie.
Yeah,
Like I like the original movie, but I've never watched the show. I think it's because it just got past that point. It was like maybe 3 or 4 seasons in or something. I was like, when I fall behind, I find it hard to like be motivated to catch up to something.
This is kind of fucked. The grocery chain here in
Kroger.
the U.S. Did you see this?
Is Kroger a grocery chain? I thought it was just
Yeah,
a food
yeah.
man. They just made food. They were in Ralph's and stuff like that. Everything was
Yeah.
Kroger.
They do make their own stuff, but they're also a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
So this is really fucked. Kroger is working with Microsoft, which, by the way, the same Microsoft that wants to buy TikTok, to install facial recognition technology in stores to identify customers. This could allow shoppers to see prices differently based on their profile.
Oh God, that's awful. So is that what they look at you and go? They just want, let's scam this motherfucker. Let's
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
well,
Basically,
one cucumber. Oh yeah, $10, bitch.
right. So basically, if you are using, like, if you're using their service, I'm assuming you have to have their app open or something like that for this to work. But you're using their service, they would charge you differently for stuff.
Is this not like just like profiling at its worst though? Like
it is, and it's borderline illegal. I think that they tried to ban it, but it hadn't actually officially been banned. But I can assure you, all it's going to take is one person to go into Kroger and get charged differently than another person, and you're going to get a discrimination lawsuit. Yeah,
that's awful. It sounds like it's arguably one of the that's like one of the stupidest. Like, imagine just have like some like extremely judgmental person at the cashier and go, they just make up the prices at this point. You know what? This is a special for those people. For you, you're paying double the price.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even make sense from the standpoint of like them buying things to stock. Like how,
and also like what does that even mean? Like when you pick up like a box of Lucky Charms or something, it says, okay, $4. Okay, what you're playing like the game of Risk in regards to like going up like to the thing, like you're literally gambling. I'm like, okay, this is either going to be $4, maybe it's 3, but maybe it's 6. Like what? You wouldn't. What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd love to see you go in, Eric, and get your party-sized Pringles, and they go.
I'll be ordering everything online, so do not worry about that.
What happens is that? What if you all go online from Kroger? Like when the guy shows up to deliver it, he just looks at you or something. He has to make up his mind.
So we got a $2 super chat from South Texas Shark. Paige, what American food would you like to try? So something you haven't had before.
Well, I think I knocked out a lot of the stuff I wanted to when I was over there. Like I went and I had soul food, like from a proper like that was something I was always curious about. There was one thing I didn't have though. To be honest, like New York style pizza from New York. I've always wanted to try like the deep dish one. Like they have it here in Australia, but I'm like, it's obviously not going to be the same. Any of those different pizzas, like Detroit style pizza, but I don't know. Like I had a lot of the stuff I wanted to try. Is there anything? Oh, actually, you know what? Something I didn't have, but I didn't want to. It was more like a curiosity thing. Actually, that's something. Gumbo.
All right.
Yeah, that's something that I couldn't find where I was. But I had like a lot of the other stuff I wanted to. Fuddruckers. Fuddruckers is the goat.
I love Fuddruckers.
It's the best. Like you just get your burger and put it as many toppings as you want. That was my first encounter with those weird soda machines you have over there, where it's like
the way you put the touch screen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, what's this? And it's like, and I clicked on, I was like, hey, I'll get a Coke, and then it's got like 15 flavors of Coke. Like it's got Coke grape, like it's just like I guess Coke with a bit like Coke. It had all the different Coke things, and like I think Fanta was even crazier. I think Fanta had like 20 different flavorings in it or something like that. But yeah, like it had all that stuff. But I went and had. We went to like, where did we go? We went to Inglewood and went to like, what was the place in Inglewood? It was like some fried chicken joint.
Was it waffles and chicken? Was that it?
No, I had chicken and waffles though. I can't remember what it was. It was next to this shoe shop in Inglewood. I remember there was a car crash.
You talked about it a little bit before, yeah.
Yeah, when we went there, there was a car crash outside the grocery shop, and there was a bit of almost a fight going on when it happened. And then
Roscoe's is probably the most popular like non-major like chicken chain.
It was just like a little, it was just like this thing. I don't think it wasn't a big shop, but I had like Popeyes when I was over there. We had Denny's for breakfast. I had In-N-Out, had McDonald's, obviously, had KFC, which was awful in America. We had Domino's. So I had like the fast food stuff as a comparison. But I went there for like, the first time I went there was there for 2 weeks. The second time I was there for 3 weeks. So like I had a lot of time. Just, yeah. I'll tell you what was crap. And I was like, what are these Americans smoking? I had a Slurpee from a 7-Eleven. It was the worst Slurpee I've ever had. But I got like a cherry flavor just mixed. I was like, hey, I'll try this. I think that's what ruined it. I think it was just an awful, like weird cherry flavor.
Right.
That's what ruined it.
Well,
yeah. I'll tell you the one thing I'm jealous of in America that you have.
Fuddruckers is the best though. Like that's the best burger and fries. So
yeah, really Fuddruckers is real. It's cheap as well for like what it is. Fuddruckers is really good. But in Domino's, hey, you get marinara sauce on the side. You don't get that in Australia. Like you have obviously pizza sauce on the pizza, but there's no like marinara on the side to like dip your crust in or something like that. And there's Popeyes in New Zealand. It's not in Australia yet, but I think they know that KFC is so big here. It's hard. I think they know if they brought Popeyes over, like they'd probably be. But Wendy's open in Australia.
Yeah, have you tried it yet?
No, it's near me though. It's like literally like 15 minutes away. I could go and get it
for sure.
But apparently it's really busy all the time. So I'm a bit like dodgy on going to line up for it and stuff like that. It's a bit of a pain in the ass area as well. But yeah, like I don't know if there's anything else. Like I tried most of the stuff that I wanted to. But that's one thing I didn't have was Cheesecake Factory. We were near one though. We were near one and I was like, oh, but I heard it was expensive.
Yeah.
It was like,
so
is it worth it?
says that we should have dipping sauce with pizza. So there's a place, local pizza place to me called Marco's. And I've seen people come to this area to try them. Like they make videos of trying it. Marco's is known for their thin crust pizza. So my cat is jumping around everywhere. What are you doing? They're known for their thin crust pizza. They make a really good thin crust pizza. And you get the thin crust and then you get the marinara to dip it in. And it's so good. Because the marinara is a different flavor from the pizza sauce. So you get that like, the marinara is like a sweet sauce. And then the pizza sauce is like a savory sauce. So you get like this really good like combo or bite or whatever. Yeah. It's really good. I like it. If you have a Marco's near you, Anthony, try their thin crust if you haven't already. Because they do a thick crust pizza, which is good. It's like a hand toss type pizza. But thin crust is the way to go. 100%. All right, so we have this article. Paige shared this. I hadn't even seen this, but it was posted earlier from Andy, friend of the show. There, it was the person that I don't know if the interview was like filmed. Was it a recorded interview or was it all?
I don't know. I only saw the thing. I actually haven't read exactly what he said.
Okay. So this is him talking about The Flash. So nearly 2 years after The Flash movie's theatrical release, one of the prominent stars of The Flash TV show has shared their thoughts on the DCEU film as Tom Cavanagh spoke about the 2023 installment at Fan Expo Portland. So this is from the Fan Expo. Cavanagh, who played the villainous Reverse Flash in many versions of Harrison Wells, addressed that while he was aware of Miller's controversies from the time period, he actually enjoyed the Flash movie and the following. So before we read his quote here, Paige, you said for a while that there's a couple things from that movie that you don't understand why it mattered. And one of them was like whether or not the controversy around Ezra was going to matter with that movie. Do you still feel that way? Or do you think people still looked at that when they went to see the Flash movie? Like
I still believe that like it impacted people's thoughts on it in regards to how they view the movie as a whole. Just because it could have been whenever Ezra was on screen, it just had a bit of a. It's like if you have a sore tooth as soon as you chew on something, you know.
But the other thing is the visual effects, the CGI or whatever. You're like, that's another thing that
I think that's your first thing you jump to with criticism. Like, you're reaching to like hate the film, you know.
Right.
Hate whatever.
All right, so Tom says here, I saw it. I did see it. I liked it. Here's what I think. I know they had all sorts of things, off-camera issues and stuff going on. They do a remarkable job. The first half of that movie, in my opinion, as somebody who's protective of Grant Gustin as a Flash, I thought they were so very winning. So the first hour of the movie, basically.
Well, I said that as well. I think the best part of the movie is like the third act is definitely the weakest part, but I still enjoy it. But it's where it gets like it's easy the part where it can take people out because there's so much going on, you know.
It says here, they played him like they took the IQ level down, and I thought that was good. No, but they did it on purpose, and I think that's going to make the Flash more innocent and different. Good call. So he liked the different take on Barry Allen. Because you don't want to repeat what a guy did for a decade on television. When Keaton shows up, spoiler alert, you're like, holy crap, why did they bleep out crap? So weird. It's so funny if you look at the Flash DVD cover, what's on it, Batman, which tells you a little bit of something. Then the end of it, it's like a massive digital thing. That's not always easy to accomplish. But if you watch the first half of that movie and you watch its Genesis story, it was a little slightly different than ours, and I thought it was extremely well done. I remember talking to Jeff Johns about this. He's DC and Marvel's kicking ass, and I'm like, what do you think about their success? And he's like, what's good for comics is good for all of us, and I sort of feel that way. So that was his full statement. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, fairly fair. But I think he also sort of says like he really, really enjoyed the first half, and the second half was like maybe it fell off a bit.
Yeah. Anthony says the CGI in the third act is something. LOL. How do you feel about that, Paigey?
I don't necessarily disagree. I don't love the CGI. Like, I think the biggest issue is that like they're replicating something from Man of Steel that was filmed on location. That's always hard. Like you see that with a lot of different things, especially when they do like reshoots. Like when you try to replicate something digitally that is actually a real location, it can sometimes look very off.
Right.
And yeah, especially if you just compare the two, like compare the pair.
Oh, sorry, my cat's bumping the microphone.
Bump and grind, yeah.
I think that's pretty much it on that. Let me see what else we have here. Hold on, where's this? There's something from James Mangold. Made a comment. Let's see if we have it here.
Eric, thoughts on the Night Stalker? What would you give him out of 10? By the way, does anyone? No.
By the way, it's a nice segue there.
Does anyone like know anyone, or like have there's like it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, or like a distant family member that was like involved with a serial killer? Like, do you know anyone? Just because America's like known as like the home of the serial killer, so I'm just wondering if like anyone.
The answer to that for me is no, and I don't really want to. So I think it's a win-win for me in that regard.
By the way, I saw a clip of Kate Blanchett on, I think it was the Graham Norton show. I think I saw it on Twitter or TikTok, and she was referencing. You know, I've told you that story about how she used to live like 2 doors down from my nan. And she lived in a house where there was a big murder, like 15 years before, and the guy was still on the run, and he got found. Like,
yeah, you did mention something about that.
Yeah, I saw her talking about it on a talk show, and I was like, oh, she mentions like this suburb and everything. I was like, hashtag shout out, hashtag murdering shout out.
I'm trying to find this.
Oh, hold on, what's this? Does anyone know how to break into houses?
What?
I've got a job. That's R.L. Morales.
Oh.
It'd be a good skill. To be honest, though, like let's be honest, technology has ruined a lot of things, like break-ins, serial killings. Like,
why is it? What?
Like, I know we want advancements in technology, but like sometimes you think, is it worth it?
Oh my god.
Like you could, like, let's be honest, like there's a bunch of like who's like you think of some serial killers. There's no way some of them got away nowadays. Like they would have been caught within a couple of days. Like they would maybe been able to do like one or two more.
Yeah.
Like Ted Bundy, like have fun. Like you would have been caught after one day.
I don't think anybody in the chat cares about any of this.
Oh, it's just interesting.
I think you're talking about it, and people are just.
I'll tell you the only person who I think could get away with it nowadays is Jeffrey Dahmer. I think he's the only one who could have got away with it with a decent streak because everything happened inside his apartment for the most part. But everyone else would have been like noob vision. They would have been caught very quickly. Actually, John Wayne Gacy. Actually, I can't remember. What did he do? Did he?
You're really trying to get this stream completely red, aren't you?
At least like a strong yellow.
No, it's definitely going to be red. So that's cool. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to talk about this. All right, so James Mangold here, the possible Swamp Thing director.
Or like the question mark Swamp Thing.
I don't think he's going to direct the movie. I think he's going to walk away from it.
The thing is, you'd rather they just pull the plug. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, because I think that makes it worse. That reminds me of like a Flash movie situation, or where like the person's lingering.
What do you mean, like pull the plug? Like not do the movie at all?
Well, no, like if he's not going to do it, just announce it. Like, don't make it this thing where it gets drawn out and then all of a sudden, like 2 years from now, he's not doing it anymore. You know, like surely he knows whether he really wants to do it or not.
Well, I don't think it lines up. I know that we talked about it with Darren a little bit, but I don't think it lines up with what James Gunn is trying to do. Like, if it were its own separate Elseworld story, which, by the way, are we even getting any Elseworld stories other than the Batman?
It's just Batman at this point. Like, we thought Clayface, but then he said no, Clayface is in the DCU.
So if he's not doing an Elseworlds version of Swamp Thing, which he could totally pitch if he wanted to, what would be wrong with that? Why wouldn't he pitch? If he doesn't want to do a franchise movie, just pitch it as an Elseworlds.
Yeah, and it's not like I think the DCU like 100% needs Swamp Thing. And then they also said that they're going to do a intro for the Elseworlds. I'm like, what? Just for the Bat? Just do a Reevesverse logo then. Like, if we're not doing other Elseworlds things. The only thing I can think of is that his whole thing with Elseworlds is things that like a bigger director comes in and pitches that aren't necessarily in his plans, and it might be harder to work into his world. Well, with Dynamic Duo, that was said that it was DCU, or like at least hinted, which I think is weird because it's going to be like live action puppetry sort of thing.
Well,
yeah,
that's the other thing is that I want that too, but the way James Mangold has talked about this film is that it's not going to be that kind of a movie. It's going to be a very one and done Swamp Thing story, which I don't know how that's going to work, honestly. Anyway, he talked a little bit about filmmaking, and he said this, and this may be a little bit concerned as well about the future of these movies he's working on or whatever. In this time of irony and stark and inherent internet nightmares, we need some sincerity and earnestness more than ever. That doesn't mean every film needs to be a history lesson or depressing or weepy. It just means we shouldn't be embarrassed to feel shit and show it. We can battle the sleepwalking of our culture, not only with the issue of oriented films, but also, as Michelle said, entertaining ones that feel earnest and vital and emotional and true. Anyway, that's how, in some small way, I hope some of my work is remembered. And I'm sure that's how the work of Sundance will be remembered. It is my honor to be here tonight and join you all. And thank you again for this wonderful honor. So he's talking, this was at a speech he was doing. And the reason why I'm concerned about it is this doesn't sound like the kind of guy that you should have working on a franchise movie.
Yeah, I feel weird that Mangold's doing it because if he's not, like, I think he spent most of that Bob Dylan movie tour talking about like how he doesn't like franchises and stuff like that. But then again, like Swamp Thing, the Wes Craven movie is like a cult movie, like a cult classic sort of thing. So I'm sure it's something he watched as like a budding filmmaker or aspiring filmmaker or something, like that type of film. So like maybe that's why he wants to do Swamp Thing specifically. But it's, I don't know. I don't think Gunn would have like given it to Mangold, at least in the moment, and then wanted to like put him in a sandbox. I think it's like, hey, do what you want to do. The thing is that because you've seen Mangold sort of like, he sort of like sideswiped Deadpool and Wolverine a bit
Yeah.
because they obviously play off Logan. So would he be fine with Gunn then taking his version of Swamp Thing that he just spent a movie on, maybe doing this like really, deep piece on or whatever it is, and then
most
you got
people
Swamp
would
Thing
know Mangold in this space from Logan. That's probably the movie that
Yeah.
everybody would know him for.
and the Wolverine. He's the Wolverine
Yeah.
as well.
But that was before I think he got into like this more artsy stuff that he's been dealing with now.
Well, he
It was
did
kind
the
of
Johnny
just-
Cash movie with like Joaquin Phoenix all those years ago.
Yeah, but he wasn't so outspoken about this.
No.
kind of stuff.
But that's what, yeah.
So-
And you probably can't speak out unless like maybe like obviously have a something.
Yeah,
to say.
he's a little prestigious now, so he has a little
Yeah.
more room to say whatever the fuck he wants to say. But
Yeah.
and he's a brilliant director. He's really good. I just don't like. I would love for him to do a Swamp Thing movie that didn't necessarily connect to the franchise stuff, only because I feel like it's going to be detrimental in one way or the other. It's either going to reduce the brilliance of his filmmaking to fit in with whatever the franchise is, or it's going to reduce the relevance of his Swamp Thing movie to the rest of the franchise, or a little bit of both, which would be the worst case scenario, is that it doesn't totally fit in with the franchise, but also he had to sort of do stuff that James Gunn wanted him to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really know. All right, let's see where we are with the tip goal. We are at 7 out of 10. We need 3 more super chats at the blue tier or higher, which I believe is the lowest tier. So 3 more super chats at that tier in the Reloaded channel, and we will end up with whatever you guys have selected in the poll. So if you want to see that, if you want that to happen, 3 more super chats before we wrap up the stream. We got about a half an hour to go. It's to be like Deadpool and Wolverine following Logan. Yeah. So that's the thing, is I believe the loose connection stuff is kind of what he's okay with, but he doesn't like the idea of things being like lined up in advance, because some directors just don't work.
Or
that
he
way.
has to plant a seed, like he has to have an end credit
Yeah.
sandwich on. You see like a cigarette or something being puffed in the distance.
Paige, did you play a lot of games in 2024? A lot of video
No.
games? So do you recognize any, because I was looking through this list and I know what I've played, but I was just curious if any of these are things that you have played or franchises that you played.
No, I'm not
So-
surprised that it's a lot of the EA Sports sort of year by year releases. And
I'm not
even
surprised, but I
podcast.
also know that community, I don't play a lot of the EA Sports games. I think that the soccer games are probably the ones that I would have the most fun playing, but I have heard people that play those games like as their main games they play complain that they are just slightly different each time they come out. They're not
Yeah.
much different than the previous version.
Well, it's sort of those things, and mainly because it's just an online thing. Like if you're not playing the most recent one, like not only like a players, like they update the teams and everything, but also like the player base just goes over. Like there might be like a small community and stuff, but like if you really want to be, as EA says, EA Sports, it's in the game. If you want to be in the game, you got to be locked in with the next thing. And it's just like that. It's like that. It's like a printing money thing for them. Like I am surprised that college football is that high.
I was
Just
going to say five out of the 10 are sports games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by like, 2K, obviously Madden. I'm surprised Madden's higher than FC 25 because that's a global thing. Unless this is like maybe it's high selling in America. I'm not too sure.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is that like that MVP bundle. That's if you get that. That was Madden 25 and the college football together. So people just bought that, and that made it into the top 10. A goddamn bundle. So, but that's the thing. Like all those games, except for like Elden Ring and Helldivers, and I guess I'm surprised
Dragon Ball?
Actually, now that I see
Yeah.
how is Dragon Ball like that's surprising that's that high. But like a lot of these are like the people that they get to play maybe like 1 hour a night if they're lucky. So that's what they play. So it's always going to be like that general consumer stuff, and obviously like sports is just a general interest and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I mean, the thing that surprised me most is Helldivers probably being that high, and probably Dragon Ball those two being in the top 5. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the only games that I played on this list, the only ones, are Elden Ring and Helldivers. I haven't played any of these other games.
Yeah,
So that game list is whack. I mean, it is cursed, right?
but that's the thing.
Well,
Like every year, it'd be roughly the same thing. You just insert some new originals. But like 7 or 8 out of the 10 would be the exact same. Just
Lance is
change
giving you
it.
shit here. How dare you disrespect Dragon
Well,
Ball, Paige?
Isn't it just a fighting game? It's not like a story. It's just a fighting game. Is it like a
Right.
what's that? Tenkai or whatever, Tenshaki, whatever that game is.
Yes.
Budokai, whatever that is. It just a game like that?
I think so. Yeah, I haven't played this one, so
I mean, yeah, I didn't mind.
I played
playing
Dragon Ball as a franchise. I've never played this specific.
Why did they make like a story-based Dragon Ball, like a RPG type Dragon Ball game?
Oh, you said it's a story, but I bet you it's. Hold on. I'm just gonna.
Is it a story? Is it like Injustice story? Like it's a story, but just with fighting.
Right, exactly. Let's see.
What is it called? Sparkling Zero. It sounds like a
Sparking Zero.
Oh, so Sparkling Zero. It sounds like a new release from Coca-Cola or something.
Kakarot, I will defeat you this day.
No, I won't be losing this one, Vegeta.
So
Okay,
it
so
is a
just-
fighting
yeah.
game.
But it's like it's not like side scroller. It's like
So, were you right and Lance gets an L for this, or?
I mean, it looks fine.
No, I mean, but were you right about this? Were you?
Well, yeah, I'm right in regards to that. But apparently, they're saying Dragon Ball Kakarot is a game that's like an actual story based.
All right, stuff with that. All right, so we have some more super chats here, and oh, it looks like we hit the goal already. Okay, cool. Appreciate it, everybody. So keep voting on the poll, whatever you guys want to see. This Thursday, if you weren't here earlier, this Thursday stream, unless there's some major news that comes out, we're going to knock out a few of these bonus topics. So, Paigey, what would you like to do on Thursday? Pick 2 of these for the Thursday stream. All
We
right?
never did top 5 dictators, did we?
We did not do that. So we're
Dictators
not doing
ranked.
that now either. No, we're not doing that
2025
now.
update.
Okay, so these are bonuses for Thursday. There's 5 options. So tell me which ones of these you would like to do the most for Thursday. We'll probably do 2 of them. Good night, whoever's leaving. I didn't see, but somebody said good night. So Arrowverse villain ranking tier list on Thursday. DCU fan casting. Just whatever we want to do. Whoever we want to fan cast, I guess. Arrowverse memes. Our favorite comic book, because this is the comic book topic thing that was one the other night. So our favorite like comic book storylines over the years, like maybe 2 or 3 that we really like. And then whichever one wins tonight, which looks like it's going to be MCU shows ranked. Which ones of those would you like? We'll do 2 of those on Thursday.
Ray Fisher tweets ranked. I'll go with that one.
All right.
List of 50.
So that's not an option. So you have to pick one of the ones we.
I don't know. Let the chat decide.
Okay, guys. After we do this poll, you guys will do the top 2. Actually, let's go ahead and do this one. We'll go ahead and end this one. We're going to end this in like 30 seconds. So if you haven't voted, vote. All right, 30 seconds. And then I'm going to put up a poll of 4 of those, and we will do the 2 highest ranked ones.
What was the thing that you're going to make the t-shirt on? Like the nuts?
Oh, wait. I actually
wasn't
did it.
Days-
I did the artwork
Days
for it.
Nuts? Was it?
No.
was that
It was something like that. But I have the art somewhere. I'll have to
It
look
was
for it.
something These Nuts or something, wasn't it? Or,
Yeah. It was, but I have to.
You don't
find the
remember what
artwork
it
for
was?
Yeah.
I thought it was something These Balls, but it was nuts.
Oh!
I'm pretty sure.
I did see this. Did you see this?
I saw this, yes. Oh, yeah, Twitch These Nuts. Twitch Nuts.
These nuts. That's it. Yeah, I do have the artwork for that. I could still make that. I have a t-shirt press here. I could make it here at home. Okay, so yeah, I saw this. So it was this woman who's a rapper, 500 plus pounds, couldn't fit into the guy's car. He said it would like break his car, so he refused it. And now there's like a discrimination lawsuit or whatever. Like she's suing Lyft, which is going to be hard because Lyft is a provider. They're not, everybody that works for them is an independent contractor. And in their clause, I'm guessing in the clause itself, is they're allowed to turn people down for rides.
They can
if don't
refuse
feel
people like if they're unclean
Right.
and stuff. If they
Right,
think
because
it's
Lyft
dirty,
is not. Lyft doesn't own their cars. They're private people. It's like a
yeah, and the thing is that you can just book another Lyft if that person declines
Right.
you as well.
yeah. So there's a discrimination lawsuit. I don't see how this is actually going to work because you can't sue Lyft because Lyft doesn't actually employ the drivers. So, yeah, South Texas Shark, he's an independent driver. So he has the right to refuse. Now, you could socially cancel the guy. Like, you could be like, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit, get him canceled or whatever. You could do that, but I don't think there's any way to win a lawsuit against someone if he says that you're going to damage his car.
It's like suing DoorDash because the driver ate some of your fries. Like, it's
Right.
just like, oh, that's not going to... But the thing is that she ordered... Surely there must be things we can all go bigger. It was a Toyota Corolla, I think it
Yeah.
was. Those are small cars.
Yeah.
If you're like over 6 foot, you struggle to get in that car and not feel a bit uncomfortable. Like, she should have ordered, like, seriously, like, she should have ordered at least like a 4-wheel drive or like a bigger car.
You can do like the I think Uber has like you can get the higher tier,
like a deluxe
vehicles
or
where-
something. Yeah, whatever.
I always go for Uber X though because I always want the nicer cars, so I always do Uber X.
If you got an Uber X around me, it's always a Tesla. Like, if you get, it's always
Really?
a Tesla. Yeah,
That's weird. All right.
yeah.
Okay, so you guys picked a MCU TV show ranking. So these are going to be, we'll do these for the next 20 minutes or so. Arrowverse villain ranking. It's one.
If that's the thing, if she got in that
DCU
car,
fan casting.
he's like wherever she was, it would have been like literally the car would have been like arguably like it's a small car. Like, if you have a full car of like even like lightweights in that car, like if you go up a hill, you struggle. The car itself is like the little car that could getting up the hill.
All
Surely
right.
she doesn't win that. If she wins that, that'd be pretty crazy.
I don't think she will, but we'll see. Okay, so in the
To be fair,
chat
it
now,
might be just to make people listen to her music.
oh, maybe you might be right. You might be right. She won socially because of this. All right, so in the chat now is a poll. This is for Thursday. So in that poll, vote for the one that you want the most, and we will do the top 2 on Thursday because I got a feeling Thursday is going to be light on news. So unless something big breaks, either way, whatever 2 you guys pick, we will work into Thursday. All right, let's see here. South Texas Shark with a $2 super chat. Eric, what Australian food would you like to try? Oh, this is a good one. I'd probably like some of the authentic stuff that we don't get here. Like we get the knockoff versions of like a lot of Australian food. So dessert wise, I would love a traditional Australian pavlova.
Oh, yeah.
Like here they make them, but I'd like to have one made in Australia. Like a really good one.
Yeah, I think you'd have to have like some of the stuff that's actually like prepared food, like cooked. You gotta like South Texas Sharks South Texas Shark said a meat pie.
Oh,
meat
I don't know
pie,
about a meat pie. I probably wouldn't.
sausage
do that.
roll.
Yeah. Lamington. I'd like to try some authentic Lamingtons.
Or you know what? South Texas Shark defunct. You know what you'd love? A finger bun. Look up Baker's Delight finger bun on Google.
All right, let's see.
So Baker's space delight.
I'm
space
actually a
finger bun.
I'm actually a big like sweets person. So
This
I
is a
usually-
sweet. This is a
Yeah.
sweet.
All right, so like here, is this what you're talking about?
Yes, the pink ones. The pink ones
Yeah.
there. Oh, go to Baker's Delight, get a fresh finger bun.
You know
They're
what?
so
You know what
good.
page you would have to take me to? A traditional Australian sausage sizzle. Like I've heard
Well,
those are
type
really
in
good.
type in sausage sizzle. Type in. You have to go to.
Wait.
Bunnings
I'm not going to do it while it's on screen because
That
I
might be
feel
like a gay
it could
porno.
lead to something. Yeah, it could lead to something. Maybe somebody else is sizzling their sausage in another
Well, there
way.
is the term barbecuing alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh no! All right, here we go. This is what it pulls up, but I'm going to be very careful. Does this look like a sausage sizzle, like a
Yeah,
sausage
barbecued
and a piece of white
sausage on a
bread?
piece of bread with
Yeah.
tomato sauce.
Are those? I mean, are there places in Australia that this is like their go-to item, or is this like a
The only
barbecue
place that's like a
thing, so-
specialty in it? You can see it there. The first recommendation: Bunnings Snag. Click on that
let's see, bunny. Wait, the first
on the
one.
top left. The recommendation.
Oh, right there.
So there's a warehouse, like a Home Depot's type. shop
Oh,
called-
this is kind of like the Costco hot dogs we have here. It's
Yeah,
like
but you go
they're
at the
known for that,
front,
so-
and they have like, and they like for charity. Like I don't know if it's
Yeah.
it's like usually just the local charity or whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
like you get a Bunnings Snag with a can of drink. So yeah, that's like some places only do it on the weekends, some do it during the weekdays.
Mm. All right, let's see. We have hold on, where we stop at? Oh, here we go. Any announcements on a special trailers relating to DC or Marvel during the Super Bowl? It's funny you mentioned that. I actually had a tab. Let me see if I still have it open. Of what
They're
could be
like
coming out.
last time I went defunct, they were, I think for just the sausage, it was like $3 or just over $3 or something.
So these are the predicted, I guess, trailers we're going to see during Super Bowl. And you guys in the chat, tell me if you think these are what we're going to see or we're not going to see. I'd love to know how you guys feel about this. So potential trailers coming to the Super Bowl. The list of trailers we showed are a spy teaser, either Mission Impossible 8 or The Amateur. Which one do you think we'll see?
Yeah, the same Mission Impossible.
Okay. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah, that's an obvious one.
F1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah, because it comes out very soon after.
The Fantastic Four is probably the one that
Yeah.
everybody's waiting for, to be honest.
Yeah, that'll be the big one.
Lilo and Stitch, which also feels like a no-brainer, and Smurfs. So, did you see that there's going to be some sort of a special Superman thing at CinemaCon? Did you see that? That they're going to be doing?
Yeah, I
some
think it's
sort
just
of
the
panel?
cast there, but like a lot of things do that though. I think it would just be the first time the cast is all together, like on a stage sort of thing. Because Fantastic Four already did it at Comic Con, so
Right.
Gunn didn't do that last year at Comic Con because they were filming the movie. So
Yeah.
I think that's why. I am sort of surprised they're trying so hard to make CinemaCon this thing,
Like Comic-Con.
because it's really just like an exhibition, sort of like an exhibitionist sort of like, but like if you go on the showroom floor for CinemaCon, it's just like advertising material, like
Right,
posters, like popcorn buckets. It's stuff for like cinema retailers to see what is going to be available for them. Like it's sort of weird they're making it this almost like Comic-Con 1.5 type situation.
Why do you think they're doing it? What's the reason for that, do you think?
I don't know. I think it's just this like such like an outcry for more, and there's so much like competition now.
Mm.
And maybe I guess also it's probably cheaper to just go to CinemaCon, you know, and maybe do some stuff there. But like,
Oh, they canceled a State Farm ad because of the fires. Really?
wow,
Oh, they would have gotten so much backlash.
and that's
so much
big as
backlash
well
off of
because
that.
like all their ads are focused around like the NFL as well. Those State Farm,
Oh my goodness.
they have a lot of NFL focused ads.
Oh, Staggervore here, 199 super chat, and here's one more for the goal. I appreciate it. So we did hit the goal, like I said. Thank you guys so much for the super chats tonight. I do appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna give another, like, I guess, how many votes do we have in? We have 13 votes. 13 votes. Come on, we have like 60 some people still watching, and almost the 3-hour mark. We have 60 some people watching. If you are in the Reloaded channel and you want to vote on these things, do it now. If you're on the Debunks channel, open another tab, click on the Reloaded channel, and vote in the poll. So you guys have an opportunity to vote as well. To get in on this, the top 2 highest voted options here is what we will do. So make sure you vote. We've only got 13 votes. There's a lot more of you people in here that can vote. So I do appreciate it. So anyway, let's see, we'll drop that out for now. I don't think there's anything else that really major to talk about. Let's see, what else do we have here? We talked about James Mangold. We have the teaser for Alien Earth. Did you see that? It wasn't really that exciting to me.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. It was actually It was a bit odd. Like they're not
Yeah.
showing anything from that actual show.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by that.
It makes me think all the stuff seems to be around like space, but it's set on Earth.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of it. So I wonder if the show is like very. It's like what You Worry Lands will be. That's what Alien Earth's actually gonna be. Where you see like the xenomorph like right at the end and like the finale of the first season.
Oh,
that's it.
Lance sent me something, I guess, a little while ago that we didn't see. Hold on.
Is it a nude or is it?
Thank goodness, no. Chris Evans said the same thing about Captain America that Anthony did and got no backlash for it. This is interesting. Let's read
Oh
what
look,
he said
Popeyes is trending.
here. Did we do it? I think it's because we were talking about it. That's what it was.
Maybe.
What does
And
it mean
Spider-Man.
to you? And Phil Spencer. So
Who's Phil Spencer? Is he the
I don't know.
Xbox guy? Isn't he
it
the
says
Xbox
gaming.
guy?
He's gaming. Yeah, he's the Xbox Phil Spencer. I know there's multiple Phil Spencers. So what does it mean to you to basically be draped in
I
the
know
American
you've
flag
got
for
this
this
guy
film?
blocked.
So yeah, because he's one of those people that spam stuff. Yeah, it's funny though. Stay blocked. Well, to me, I'm not trying to get too lost in the American side of it. This isn't a flag waving movie. It's red, white, and blue, but it just so happens the character was created in America during wartime, and there was a common enemy, even though it is Captain America. I've said before in interviews, it feels more like he should just be called Captain Good. You know, he was created at a time when there was an undeniable evil, and this guy was kind of created to fight that evil. I think that just everyone could agree that Nazis were bad, and Cap just so happens to wear the red, white, and blue. So yeah, it's essentially it's actually even more like, it's even more in depth than what Anthony Mackie said. So it's kind of funny, actually. I'm gonna bookmark this. I'm gonna unblock him. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how that ends up in the end. All right, where are we at on the votes here? 17 votes. You guys, come on. We got 72 people watching between two channels. Like, you guys can vote. What are you doing? Like, whatever video game you're playing, put down your controller for a second, vote on this, and then you can go back to playing your game. Omega says, what are y'all doing up? We're almost done, Omega.
Wait, did you see that? I think they did it. You know, we're talking about that guy that rocked out to the drive-thru without pants on.
Oh no, yeah. What about
Did you see that? I think it was. Did you see like they had like a goon meetup?
That had to be a troll. Did you see the T-shirt the guy's wearing?
What did it say?
It was a T-shirt of the shot of him with the pants down in the drive-thru. Like I feel like it was a troll event. I don't think it was real.
But they all met him at the drive-thru where he got.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that was a psyop. It was a troll meeting, most likely. Lobo says, I feel singled out. Look, I do it too. I listen to people podcast and stream while I'm gaming. So, totally, I understand what you're doing. But you got to vote on this poll. I took the time to make it. 17 votes is disrespectful. So, we're at 19. It worked. So my bullying worked. It actually paid off.
Eric an online bully.
The results worked. It is a free and fair election. No.
Okay. Do you want to hear
whatsoever?
Do you want to hear what's happening?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. First, condoms. Second,
what?
That's trending number one. Second, Patrick Dorgu, whatever that means. Third is Doge, and Doomsday Clock. Those are my 4 trending.
Doomsday Clock. That's gonna be. You know what? It's gonna be funny. That's gonna be the perfect advertising for the Avengers Doomsday movie. When I get done with this, I'm gonna be playing some Final Fantasy 14 and eating a pizza. So that's what my plan is.
Pre-purchase pizza, or is it too late to order?
Yes, but let me show you which one. I found this new pizza that's actually really good. Hold on, let me do this. Hold on. I found a new frozen pizza that's actually so good, and it's not even expensive. Where's it at here? That's not it. Where's it at? Do you have the brand Red Baron over there? Is that a pizza brand? Okay.
Okay, I just looked it up. So people gathered at the Bikini Coffee drive-through where the gooning incident happened to hold a moment of silence for him.
It's not. I don't think it's real though.
All happened, but I don't know.
No. I don't think they're there like legitimately. I think it's a joke.
Someone's done like a school assignment on a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wait, what does he say? Oh my god!
What?
You know what it says?
What?
It says rest in peace, Goon Lord.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last goon.
It's not, yeah, exactly. It's not. It's they're trolling, man. They're trolling. I'm telling you. I saw it already. All right, so this is the Red Baron. If anybody out there has access to this pizza, okay, I don't know if you can order it online. I don't know in Australia if you can get it through Amazon or something. Yes, Goon Lord. That's what he said.
Imagine that was your legacy, Goon Lord.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I can't even. Hold on, pull it together. Pull it together. All right, because it's already. If hell is real, I feel like laughing at this would be definitely like a one-way ticket. But anyway, Lord is my favorite X-Man. Okay. All right. If anybody has access to this pizza, like if you're somebody that doesn't eat Red Baron because it is a frozen pizza, I get it. I think most people would be like DiGiorno is really the best frozen pizza next to maybe Uno's frozen pizza. But I got this the other day because I was like trying different ones. I actually want to start a channel where I try different pizzas. I just make them at home and try them because I eat a lot of pizza at home. So I feel like I could monetize that a little bit. Anyway, this is one of the best frozen pizzas I've ever had at home. The fully loaded pizzas. Like you can get it with like different toppings. You can do like a sausage, veggie one, double pepperoni, triple pepperoni. But these are like a thick, flaky crust, like a cornmeal crust, like a Chicago deep dish from Red Baron. And it's actually really, really good. It's not, I like Detroit better with the Detroit style with like the all corners. Like it's a square one. I do like Detroit better in terms of like a deeper dish pizza, but this is the best home pizza I've had in a long time. Next to this would probably be, let me see. I'm going to make sure I don't get hit with anything here. Where's it at?
Pour one out for the Goon Lord.
Oh no.
Why not goon and eat pizza?
Oh no.
That's from South Texas.
Okay,
Sharp.
so here we go. This is the Screaming Sicilian pizzas. Do you have this over there?
Nah.
Okay.
While you're looking that up, I can look up some of our frozen pizzas up.
You have DiGiorno, right?
No, we have was it the Udka one, whatever it is?
I don't know what that is. But this is the thin crust Screaming Sicilian pizza. This is another recommendation of mine. So if you like thin crust, this is the best homemade thin crust you can possibly get. If you like the deep dish stuff, the more of the Chicago style pizza, the Red Baron is the best one you can get. There you go. There's your pizza.
That's the one like.
All right, here we go.
Dr. Udka. Do you have this one over there?
I don't think so.
If I get a frozen pizza, it's usually this. I mean, I don't get it that often, but like,
right.
If I ever go on,
I don't like frozen pizza, but at nighttime when I can't order, it's usually what I grab because I work late. So obviously, sometimes I get home and I don't have it.
There's probably some other better ones, maybe like especially as time goes on and technology evolves. But these are the ones I get. I usually either get the pepperoni. I've had the quattro formaggi before.
That looks really good, actually.
But yeah, I think that's the only two. What the hell is this? They have a dessert one? Pizza Dolce al Cioccolato.
Oh, we have a version. Where's it at? We can buy it from the international market. Like I can get it from the international market.
Oh, okay. Maybe they have it in Canada or something like that. And
well, this company makes like a lot of stuff, actually, more than pizza. All right. Anyway, all right, we're going to end the poll because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark, and let's see where everybody voted. We're doing the top two on this list on Thursday. So what won here? At number 1 with 40% is a DCU fan casting chat. So I will sit down for once and compile like a list of 5 fan castings that I have for the DCU. The second one is the MCU TV show ranking. Now, this is going to be easy for me because I've literally watched all of them because I am an MCU shill. But Paigey probably hasn't watched all of them. So I will probably be ranking them all alone except for the few that Paigey has tuned in for. So,
well, I know Inhumans is going to be up there for you. So.
Oh yeah, that actually is going to be on the list most likely. So
I mean, most likely it's a MCU TV show.
Well, if I find a list that doesn't have them, I might not add them.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Hope everybody has a good week. We'll be back again on Thursday. Maybe some big news will drop between now and then. I don't know. Otherwise, I want to thank Darren for hanging out with us. And not sure where 3Dub went, but he could have maybe gave us some insight on the Superman being arrested thing. Anyway, I'm going to eat some pizza, play some Final Fantasy.
But it's also very important to remember that when in doubt, goon it out.
That's it. Bye.